Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the True Crime Cafe. I appreciate you all joining us today, November 27th, 2024, the day before Thanksgiving. Today, guys, we are going to be joined by Miss Jana Gajewski. I do believe, I'm sorry for that, would be the sister of Crystal Jones. Today, we're looking into what happened with Crystal, and we're going to be talking to Jana to see what her thoughts are on this and the mysterious circumstances behind Crystal's death, guys. So please and thank you for joining us, for being here today. Share this out to throughout all your social media accounts. Of course, I will be joined by my producer Doodle as we go through this today. And again, thank you so very much. Make sure to please hit that like button on your way through the door and share this out if you will. That being said, it is time to get this show on the road. Here we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the True Crime Cafe. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you, Doodle, for joining me today. Again, you guys all know who Doodlebug is, my executive producer with this stuff.
Hey
Still very
guys,
much appreciative of you. Twice in a row today, 2 days,
I
two,
know,
twice
crazy.
in one day. I don't know if you can handle my voice that long. Wonderful to have you, Doodle. Thank you so much for putting this together for us. Again, guys, we will be speaking today with Miss Jan, and I know I'm butchering this, and I'm so sorry to her for this, but Jana Gajewski, I do believe, Lodagar. Um,
She's
who?
signing in right now. Actually, she's signing in.
Okay, and her sister's name is Crystal Jones. Everyone, and we're
Yes.
going to be having Jana's going to jump up here with us in just one moment and tell the story. Guys, you know what we cover in here. You know why we cover it. We like to bring awareness to things that just don't quite look right and have some problems understanding. So just like everybody else's cases that we've covered, Miss Janet deserves to get answers to the questions that we all want to know is when these things happen like this. So I'm very grateful for her to be joining us today. I appreciate everybody in here for joining us as well. Again, guys, please share this out throughout all your social media platforms, if you will, please. And please be sure to hit the like button when you come in so we can put this in the algorithm so that everybody can see this. So, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you very quickly. FarQ, thank you so much for gifting that membership that went to Granny Grunt 64. That's so awesome of you, FarQ. Now, without further ado, Miss Jana shall be joining us.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
Welcome, Miss Janet. Thank you for joining us. Is it Lodagar?
Laudiger, yes, and it's Gajewski.
Lodagar.
You did a good job.
Okay. Sorry about that. I hate trying to do names because I always butcher them. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. I really appreciate you. And Doodlebug had showed me a little bit about what's going on with this case, and I take these on all the time like this, especially when there's questions that are not answered and weird things like this. So this is what I kind of live for. So I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you for taking it.
Absolutely, absolutely. As of Doodle does the same. We kind of work together with this. We have a large group of people that stand behind stuff like this to try to get answers and to basically bring awareness to these situations so it stops happening and or shows what's going on. Do you know what I mean? So
And to get the story out to more faces so more people can help fight for what's right, which of course we want the justice for her for sure. So many inconsistencies, so many questions. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the little things I saw and the little bit I got to read, I was like, wow, it's pretty wild. So what I'm going to do first and foremost, I'm going to wait just a few more seconds if you're okay with that, Miss
Yeah,
Jana.
sure.
I want to get some more people to jump in here because I did we do a morning show and we just did that real quick, like jumped out of that, jumped into this. So people are trying to get their bits together before they jump back in. So that's all.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
did you open this up too on your end, Doodle?
Yes, it is. It's streaming on
Okay,
my side too.
absolutely. Can we put Doodle's link in the chat, guys, if we could, please? And that way, anybody that's in here that is not on that side of things, please jump over there real quick, like we always do, and share out and like Doodle's side of it as well. That way we can get it spread out the way we should. Please and thank you. Mine and Monsters, thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate that so very much. Let's see who we do have while we're waiting. Miss Cal's in the house again. Of course, Mom, Mine and Monsters. Brutally Honest 78, welcome back. Miss Sherry, Wisdom Speaks, good to see you. Country Cooter, welcome back to you. FarQ, all the way from Australia. Thank you so much for joining us today. Miss Noel, welcome back to you. Of course, Miss Taylor, good to see you. Alicia J, welcome back, dear. Good to see you. Thank you to the Blue Crew for being here today and supporting this. Lord knows that we couldn't do it without you. Appreciate you all very much. Victoria Burgess, wonderful to see you. Welcome back, CZTU. Midwest, great to have you back as well. Again, Noel, wonderful to have you today. Miss Brandy B, wonderful to have you back, Brandy. Wisdom Speaks, Miss Sherry, grateful again to see you. I think I got everybody so far. If I didn't, don't mind me, folks. I will catch up. You know I'm good for that. Victoria Burgess, CZ. I think I covered everybody so far.
It's a lot of people.
There's more to come. Definitely more to come. I promise you. A lot of people, sadly, at some time, if they're not familiar with a name on a case, at least when it's fresh, it takes them a while before they catch on to come in. So if it's a case that's been out there, they jump on board pretty quick. But this is a new one, but I promise you it's going to get well known very quickly. So Mind of Monsters is another. She's an advocate. This lady here, she's working right now, but she's still here with us while she's working. She's an advocate for a lot of different missing children, missing people, so on and so forth, and other cases that we've covered. And she definitely will spread the word for her end of things for real. A couple other people that will jump in here that are other creators as well to watch and help spread the word as well. So we try to make a big difference with these cases, Jana, and bring as much attention to it as we truly can. So welcome back, Siggy and Mike. Wonderful to see you tonight. Or today. I'm sorry, it's not night yet. Even though it looks like it is outside. It's so dreary out here today. 20 people in here. 15 likes, guys. Let's see if we can make that match. The closer we get this to the algorithm, the further it spreads itself out. And share this out on your other social media accounts as well, folks, if you will. Facebook, TikTok, whatever you guys have rolling. If you can, please share it out and show it to as many people as we can. As always, Miss Kel, good to see you. Absolutely, Mom. Thank you for that too. Very much. Like I said, there's probably
you do favor your sister a lot. I hope you realize that you
Yeah.
do look a lot like your sister.
Thank you. I have 2 daughters, and my youngest daughter is she could pass as her twin.
Oh, what a blessing. Oh,
wow. Yeah, I was gonna say that to Doodle too. You guys do definitely look a lot alike. Both very beautiful, and it's so sad. I'm so sorry. Again, my condolences straight out of the gate for everything that you've gone through, Jenna. These stories are horrific. I know they are. And if there's ever any time during the conversation or anything that you need us to stop, you need to take a break, please just say the word, and it's never a problem.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Let's see. What I'll let you do first, if you want to, first and foremost, is if you want to just introduce yourself, and where you're from and where this all took place, and then we can go ahead and jump into things from there if you want to.
Sure. So my name is Jana Laudiger. I'm from a small rural town in northeast Louisiana called Bastrop. And I'm the sister of Crystal McCrory Jones. She was 10 years older than me. She and I were the only 2 girls We have 2 other brothers. And where it happened at was a parish over from where I live in West Carroll Parish in Oak Grove, Louisiana, where she resided. So I live outside of that jurisdiction. So ever since February 9th of 2023, when we kind of had our suspicions and things like that, we've been advocating for.
Absolutely, absolutely, as we should do. In fact, so you said everything took place. You said in West Carroll Parish.
Yes.
Okay, so in Louisiana, I'm not really familiar. Is that what they call like towns and cities or parishes?
A county. So it's equivalent to a county. We just
Okay.
have parishes.
Gotcha. Understand. Learn something new every day. All right, so let's talk about a little bit of it, just so everybody can get to know a little bit about you, Crystal, your family, and stuff like that. If you don't mind, of course.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about when you guys were growing up and stuff like that first.
Okay, so I was one of 4. I have a twin brother. And so we were born kind of late. My sister was 10 years old when we were born, and my brother was 14 years old. So we were kind of like the last of the crew. So when I was growing up, my sister was more like my mom than she was my sister. She kind of took that over, the mom role. She moved to New York for a little while when I was about 8. She got married and moved to New York. We wrote letters every single day. That's how I learned to write, back and forth. And then as we got older, we had kids, she moved back home. And so she had been moved back home probably around 10 years before this happened.
Okay.
And she is a mother of 2 sons. She has a 19-year-old son and a 27-year-old son. And about 2 weeks before this incident happened, she found out she was going to be a grandma for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So her grandson just turned 1 in September, and she never got to meet him.
Horrible. That is horrible.
So growing up, she was just the happy-go-lucky, funny. Never know what you're going to see, especially when it came out that you can make memes and, distort your voice and distort your face. We always expected those kind of videos from her. So pretty interesting.
Love it. That's awesome. So she was a fun-loving, life-loving person, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I noticed her date of birth was May 17th of 79. That's my son's birthday, actually, May 17th. So
wow, yeah.
And by the way, just so you know, I should have done this beginning. My name is Joe. I go by Dago on here because of the channel name, but you can call me whatever you want to, whatever you're comfortable with, Joe, Dago, whatever. And of course, you know who Doodlebug is up here.
Yeah.
Also, if there's any questions or anything you need, we have a team that works with us in here. Most of the people you see in blue are the team members. We call them the blue crew. They will run and grab anything we need if we need them to, per se. If there's anything that you need to help with what you're talking about or anything, just let us know. We have that done for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know. Let's see. We got 25 of you guys in here. 2016. Let's try to hit that like button, guys. Coming through the door, if we will, so that we can definitely get this in that algorithm, guys. Please share this out if you would. So very important that we get this out there and make all the awareness we can to it. Let's see. And of course, if you have any platforms that you're on, Jana, that you want to share this to as well, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, you're fine, Alicia. No worries. Midwest, Alicia. Welcome everybody else that's popped in. Great to see you guys. So, okay, Jana, go ahead if you want to go ahead and get started. I don't want to drag you out too long, and I'm sure you're busy today too, as everybody else. Welcome, Murky. Good to have you here today. Good to see you, and thank you for doing that, Murky. Very much appreciated. Everybody, I want everybody and anybody to see this situation as many as we can. Thank you, brutally, and again, Murky, thank you for that as well. So. Go ahead, Jen. If you want to go ahead and let us know what February 9th and what all went down and what this situation was.
Okay, so I can make this as short as we want it, or I can make it as long. So you just jump in with questions because I might skip over something. And
okay.
So I was a teacher for 10 years, and so on February 9th, 2023, I'd just gotten off work. Went to Walmart, made it to my house, and I get a phone call from my oldest brother, and he asked if I was sitting down. I told him no, and he said, well, I need you to sit down. And I said, well, just tell me what's wrong. And he had gotten a phone call from my sister's husband saying that my sister was found deceased, that she was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He said those exact words, and I immediately just kind of froze. I told my brother, my oldest brother, and my twin brother, I said, y'all just stay where you're at. because I don't want someone calling our mom and telling our mom, over the phone what's happened. And I need y'all close by because they live where I live. And so I jumped in my car, told my husband to sit with my two girls, jumped in the car, and I drove. It's about a 30-minute drive, and it took me about 15 minutes to get there. And so I got to the crime scene, and they had a little bit of the front yard taped off, and her husband was there with all of his family. He walked up, gave me a hug, said it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
What is her husband's name?
Tony Jones.
Tony Jones. Okay.
Tony Jones is her husband. And then I went and I just stood next to the crime scene tape. I was in shock. There were about 2 or 3 officers there. None of them approached me and asked me who I was. None of them talked to me. They actually walked over and talked to her husband, who was once an employee of the sheriff's department there. He was a former employee of that sheriff's department.
Retired. He was a deputy, like a deputy sheriff?
He was a deputy sheriff, yes.
Gotcha.
And so they were talking to him, and coroner walks over and says, I hate to do this, but we still have to send her body off for an autopsy. I was like, why would you say it like that? So I didn't say anything. I stood there and I waited till they brought her body out. And so right before they brought her body out.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but did they separate Tony from the crime scene?
No.
So he wasn't
at all.
He wasn't made to stand outside of that crime tape where you.
He was made to stand outside of the crime tape. I don't know if they let him in to identify the body. I'm assuming they did.
Okay. But he was outside that crime tape.
Right. I got to the crime scene 12 minutes after he did.
Okay. And he found her, correct?
No, he actually called for a welfare check because she wouldn't answer her phone. So he called one of his deputy friend buddies to go in and check on her because she wouldn't answer her phone.
How long did he try?
He said he had been calling her all day, which was odd because in his Google timeline, Google tracks your location. And my sister had logged into his Google account about 2 weeks before she passed away. Okay. And I got access to that laptop. He was just driving around aimlessly for the majority part of the day. He was at Walmart. He was at Sonic. He was at this bakery barn eating lunch. He was about 12 minutes away from her when he called for the welfare check.
So instead of going home to check on her,
right.
Okay.
And then he checked his daughter out of school at 2:30 that afternoon, which was odd because she was usually a bus rider. And so he checked her out of school that afternoon. And we think
so she wouldn't ride the bus home and walk in on something.
Right.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So when I was standing at the crime scene tape, they were about to bring the body out, and he looks at me and he goes, Jana, you don't, and I'm talking about her husband, Jana, you don't need to see her like this. And I turned around and I said, see her like what, Tony? And he walks off. So I stood at the crime scene tape, and one of his cousins, I don't know her name, but I'm thankful for her every day. She came and held my hand and said, you don't need to do this by yourself.
Of course.
And they brought her body out. It hit me that it was real. And I watched them load her up, and then I got in my car and I drove back to where I live to go meet with my brothers so we could figure out how we were going to tell our mom.
Right. Let me interrupt you real quick, Jenna. The questions we're going to ask you, they help us to form a story and to build a picture. Okay. Doodlebug, by the way, I don't know if you knew, as retired law enforcement as well, which helps in a lot of sense. She knows how certain things go. So, and I'm retired EMS and firefighter, so we both kind of have been on different scenes. So what was your relationship with Tony? Let me ask you that over the years.
So for the entire time, they had only been together about 5 years.
Okay.
I never liked him. I thought he was a con artist. I went back through text messages between my sister and I through an old phone when she started dating him. And my exact words to her was, he's a sweet talker.
Yeah.
And it was just, nobody in my family really, really cared for him.
Did Crystal ever come to you with anything about him that was maybe off-putting by any way?
Some of the verbal abuse where he would, my sister was married twice before him. And he said, your other husband's got the skinny version of you and I get the fat version of you. Verbal abuse like that. She came into financial strains and things like that, but nothing ever physical.
Okay. So verbal, mental, and emotional abuse. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
I'm so sorry. That's horrible. And so she would talk about those kinds of things. What was their relationship like from like an outsider to see it, as far as you know, did they seem to get along? Like, were they putting on a show, would you think? Or was he, I should say, being that you said that you kind of took him as a con artist? Or did it show if there was strain?
She my sister was very I don't know how to put it. She wanted everybody to like portray a life that she really didn't live. She wanted everybody to think everything was hunky dory. They owned a karate studio together in that town, and so they were involved with a lot of the families and things like that. They had a lot of arguments that were open arguments, and most of them were about his teenage daughter. It wasn't my sister's daughter; it was his daughter.
Okay.
And they were pretty intense arguments about discipline and about, doing the right things. And the night before her death, they had actually had an argument about his teenage daughter that night, and some things that she had done that were inappropriate. And it turned into a pretty big argument.
I take it Tony didn't really reprimand her like he probably should.
Right. Exactly. Okay. And so that was what the main arguments was about, that and financial issues.
Financial issues.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Interesting. Doodle, do you have anything so far?
No, just that I for some reason I can't get past that he was 12 minutes away.
Right. Yeah,
and
I know.
He's driving around all through the town. Instead of going home, he calls a welfare check to a buddy deputy.
Yeah.
Well,
that right there is sticking with me, because if you're 12 minutes away and you're that concerned, one, you go home.
Right.
Two, why would you call a welfare check if you are that close? And why would your buddy just take your word on the fact that he needs to run over there if you're 12 minutes away?
Right. Had Tony ever done anything like that? Had he ever had a reason to call a welfare check in on her before?
No, never. There was never any kind of reason to call a welfare check. I'm not even sure his full relationship with this deputy. There was some inconsistencies in both of their stories.
Do you know his name?
His name is Chuck Harris.
Chuck Harris. That was the first deputy on scene?
That was the first deputy on scene. And technically he was off duty, but he was a resource officer. He was off duty when he went to check on her.
So he did this as a favor to Tony. Okay.
As a favor.
So was the door locked?
Tony told him to go ahead and go in. The door would be unlocked, which was
how would he know that?
How would he know that? And my sister never, in the state she was found in, it looked like she had just gotten out of the bathtub and she was getting ready for the day. She had a doctor's appointment to go to. She was in a robe, and so she would be putting her makeup on. In the state she was found in, there was no way she would leave the door unlocked. They lived on a main highway. She was just paranoid about that.
Of course not, especially if her daughter was at school and she was going to do something like that. She would protect her daughter.
Of course. What time was this, Jana? Do you remember the time that he did this?
The time that he called for the welfare check?
The time that Chuck arrived on scene and found her.
4:29
in the afternoon. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. Interesting. And now to go backwards, we've heard that Tony put himself all over town that day. All over town. He was at different places. Right.
To gather an alibi, maybe?
That's what I'm saying. So he had himself seen all over town. Then being 12 minutes out, he contacts Chuck Harris, says, hey, go check on Crystal. She's not answering her phone. Chuck finds her, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're at that point. I've already gotten many a question at this point. So go ahead, Crystal. I'm sorry to interrupt.
All right, so Chuck finds her. I get the phone call. At the crime scene, I leave. I automatically just wanted to know if there was a suicide note, because my sister wrote notes for everything. If she was mad at you, if she was happy, didn't matter. She wrote notes.
Right.
So I was basically in that sister denial phase where I was like, unless I find a note or she sent a text to her son or something, that she didn't do it. And I was sitting eating dinner with my husband, and I bought my sister a laptop, and I wonder if he'll give it to me. So I sent her husband a text, and I said, hey, I bought Crystal a laptop for the karate studio several years ago. Can I have it? And he goes, yeah, I guess. He said, I think it's at the karate studio, which tells me they didn't look for a suicide note on it.
Right.
And he goes, what do you want it for? And I said, I'm looking for a suicide note. So I got the laptop. He gave me the password to get into it. And
how long did it take for you to get the laptop in your hands from him after that conversation?
Within an hour, because I told him I was on my way.
Okay.
I didn't
Gotcha.
want him to change his mind.
Right.
And
No.
once I got the laptop, I logged into it. That's when I could see old emails, financial strains. I could see his Google timeline records from that day of exactly where he was at.
Mm-hmm.
All the dating websites he was on, we could see all that.
Nice.
We saw everything. And that is when I told my oldest brother, I was like, something's not right, because the police told us he was at Forest High School all day working, which is in the town that it happened in.
Okay.
And I said, there's no way he was at Forest High School working all day. It looks, he came to the town where I live in and passed right by their house.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took it to the sheriff's department and we give them all this information, they then compile a second police report with the information I gave them to show where he was all day.
Gotcha.
So
Interesting.
then they interviewed the guy that he was at his house that morning doing some repair work. They interviewed him, but they didn't interview him till 9 days after her death.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. And that was Tony was doing what, a handyman job at this guy's house, supposedly? Okay.
Yeah, and there were some discrepancies there as to who called who that morning, because in the police report it says that Tony called Mr. Billings, which was the guy's name he was doing the work for, to tell him he was on his way. Well, when my private investigators interviewed Mr. Billings, he said, no, I had to call Tony because he was running late. And I asked him where he was at.
Okay. So what time did he arrive at Mr. Billings' house?
Right at a little past 9 o'clock, like 9:02.
9:02. That's interesting. Okay.
Now, you know your sister better than probably anyone else. The minute that you heard that, did you immediately know this is not my sister? This is not her? Or were you like, okay, what did I miss? I mean, what's the first thing that you knew? Like, you felt it?
I thought initially was like, did I miss something? And then I said, and I thought to myself, there's no way I missed something, because one of the last conversations we had was about her being a grandma. Like, she was ecstatic about it.
Right.
And when they told me that there were no notes, there was no text messages sent, nothing like that to give her boys, maybe not even me, but maybe her boys peace. Yeah. I knew that something was wrong.
Of course.
I ask that because 99% of the time the family knows, they feel it.
Yeah.
That gut feeling an officer should run with, because they know the person, they know the feeling, and it hits them. They know.
Right. But they never questioned me.
Right. That's weird. And then knowing that, no, not at all. Knowing that she was going to be a grandmother, she had expressed the excitement to you, obviously,
right,
about future plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And have you ever?
How long did it take for them to give you the time, or not the time of death? I'm sorry, the cause of death. How long did they investigate this at all? Or
okay, so he was interviewed an hour and 45 minutes after her death. He was interviewed for 7 minutes, and in that 7-minute interview, they ruled it a self-inflicted gunshot wound on the same day.
In 7 minutes.
In 7 minutes. In the recorded interview where Chief Deputy Alan Irby sits down with Tony and he does his 7-minute interview, he said, "We're here due to the self-inflicted gunshot wound of Crystal McCrory Jones."
So he immediately led it. He led the whole thing. He led that interview.
Right. So before any autopsy reports came back, before a police report was written, before her body could make it to the morgue, they had ruled it a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Dago, she has that on her YouTube channel if you want to play that too.
Yeah.
That's very important. And wow, 7 minutes. And
I've never
led the investigation, or led this interview. Immediately come off with that. That's so unprofessional. That's unreal.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a little floored. I've never in my life, I've been on multiple scenes like that as a EMS worker, okay? And no, that doesn't make any sense. 7 minutes.
Law enforcement knows that it's not always, it's never what you see. It's not what you think. It's what you investigate. You follow the evidence, not your buddy here. So,
right.
And the ME or the coroner would have to take a look at things too and say, hey, it's this or that. So
yes, she said small town. And when you got small town, you've got small town buddies. You've got the law enforcement friends with the judge. You've got the judge friends with the coroner. It's small town. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you a question, Jana. And if you don't feel comfortable answering this, just say I can't. It's okay. This was to the head, correct?
Right.
If I can ask, and like I said, please, if you're not comfortable, please tell me no. Where was it applied?
Okay, so they said the shot was from right to left, from temple to temple, a straight shot.
Okay.
Um, the only problem we have is if you look at the pictures of the headboard, um, the bullet goes through the headboard and then takes a 90-degree turn and goes into the drywall, and it looks like multiple shots were fired. It looks like multiple bullet holes. We've even had I had a separate coroner, look at some documents just this week, and she said that the pictures from the funeral home looks like the shot was from left to right because the damage to the right side was more than the left side, and usually that's what you see.
Yeah.
So they also said that it was a limp wrist when she shot, so that it didn't chamber.
the second.
Yeah, it didn't chamber the second round. So we were just wondering if it was a limp wrist and she didn't have a great grip on it. How was it such a straight shot from temple to temple?
Well,
Right.
and it sounds almost like there's a possibility
Well,
that limp wrist that she was already gone when that shot was fired, per se.
Right. And then the pillow over her head was the one that just took us out. We had no idea that there was a pillow over her head until we did a public records request for the crime scene photos. And when we did that, I noticed, I was like, there's a shot through the pillow. That's why there was no stippling on her face.
Right.
And it was burn singe marks on the pillow.
To reduce sound. Yeah. That's what that's used for typically. Interesting.
Why would you do that? Why
Nobody.
would you even think to do that knowing that your child was going to be home from school that normally rode the bus? That doesn't make sense. None of that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Was there an issue as well, Chris? Sorry, Jana. With a shell casing not being available.
Okay, so they said it was a single shot. We didn't know this shell casing hadn't been found until a week later when Tony, her husband, calls my brother and he's bragging. He's like, "Hey, I found the shell casing." And my brother goes, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I found the shell casing." He said it was on the makeup stand. He said, "But as a favor to me, don't contact Alan Irby, the chief investigator, as a favor to me because he's already beaten himself up about not finding the shell casing." So they found the shell casing a week later, the husband did. And when we took that to the sheriff and we're like, what happened here? He tells us in a recorded interview, he goes, plain as day, you can see the shell casing in a crime scene photo. And I was like, okay. So I did a public records request for crime scene photos, and I met with the DA, and that picture doesn't exist. There is no picture of a shell casing or a crime scene photo, which is what aired on the news because they try to say a glare of something was the shell casing. But they said that they sent off her body to the pathologist, thinking the pathologist can find the shell casing in her robe or anything like that. And I have emails from the pathologist, Frank Peretti, that says he wasn't told to look for that. He wasn't told to look for a shell casing.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah. And he was also told that the hands weren't bagged. We were told her hands were bagged for gunshot residue testing. And he said no.
Never happened.
Never happened.
I have audio.
Oh God. Wow.
Where Dane is discussing with Sheriff Scott Matthews the missing shell casing that's not in the crime scene photo.
Right.
Yeah. Do you mind me playing that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. By the way, your YouTube channel is very organized and very, very well put together, and I appreciate.
I told you she's on it. She's on it.
You started it last night. I was trying to go through all the videos.
You are doing amazing.
Yes, very, very good job, by the way. All right, guys. Let me know if the audio on this is okay, folks. If you can hear it, please. If not, let me know so I can fix this for you. The channel is Jana Gajewski Laudiger. Okay, that's how I'll give you guys a link for it in the chat, folks. I know Molly wants to start digging right away. And there you go. All right, let me know if that's okay, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
And another time we were talking, I was asking him about some things. We were talking after they had found the
Hold on, guys. This is just a little bit low, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the subtitles on this in case anybody can't hear it very well. And I have it turned all the way up, too. So let me start that again for everyone.
You have no whatsoever. And another time we were talking, I was asking him about some things. We were talking after they had found the shell casing. And I was asking him, I was like, well, to me, that's kind of a red flag. It's such a small bedroom. It's a 15 by 15 bedroom. It's not like you're looking for shell casing outside in those
So let
parking
me
lots.
very quickly address that before we
Yeah.
get too far off of that. You have to know and understand, sometimes a shell casing is very hot when it ejects from a pistol.
Right,
And when it hits something, it may stick to it.
right.
We, after we could not locate the casing within the room, because I'm telling you,
Y'all looked, I know you did.
we looked
I
hard.
know you did. And so did cleaners. That's what I'm getting at.
So we kind of assumed, okay, it could have possibly been in her hair.
Right, I get that. Yeah.
And I may touch a nerve here, okay,
That's
so
okay.
please bear with me. The blood that was in her hair, blood very sticky.
Right,
Okay, possibly it's in her hair, possibly it's within her clothing,
correct.
that she had on. She had on a robe, a bathrobe. It's possible that it could be within that robe.
Right,
So when they do an autopsy, a body is sent to the autopsy, to the doctor, just as we find it,
right,
robe, clothes, and all. We were hoping that casing
right.
would be found by the doctor when he does the autopsy.
Then that makes complete, perfect sense. I
Okay.
get that, but what my concern is,
Okay, so hold it,
Okay.
bear with me. So after Tony calls and says, hey, I found the casing, here's where it was at.
yeah,
Alan, my chief deputy,
mhm,
goes back and he looks at the photos that he took. There's the shell casing in the photo.
in a picture. Okay.
It's there.
Okay, that alleviates that concern.
So the makeup stand, we did not search it with a fine tooth comb like we did everything else, because it was 5 to 6 feet.
Right.
Y'all know how.
Jana, let me ask again. How long after did Tony find this casing again?
7 days.
7 days, so a full week. Okay.
Which is also proof of a terrible blotched investigation, because one, you would definitely want that casing, period.
Of
I would
course.
not leave that home without it. I don't care if I had to tear things apart. There would be someone photoing everything I touched. I would find that. Because one, where would it go? If
Yeah.
they think that this is what it is, what they think this is, that casing should be right there.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I have an issue with. I don't care if it's 5 to 6 to 8 to 10 feet away from where Crystal's body was. You're going to look at everything in the room, Doodle, right or wrong.
Right.
Absolutely, and it should be numbered and documented. Everything that you see when you walk in that room, everything that you touch, look at, or you possibly could think would have anything to do with what's going on, you definitely that's all got to be tagged. Do they have evidence bags of evidence or
There's no bags of evidence.
None?
He was allowed to burn the bedding and the headboard, all that stuff, about 3 to 4, either 3 or 4 days after it happened.
Oh my God!
The pillow wasn't taken for evidence. And then her clothes was disposed of by the pathologist. The only evidence that exists is the gun.
And they probably gave that to her husband eventually.
They gave it back to her husband, who then went back and sold it at a local convenience store where I went and purchased it.
Okay.
I own the gun.
Okay.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah, someone sent me a picture of him pawning the gun at a local convenience store. So I went behind them a couple of days later, filled out the paperwork, and I purchased it in case y'all ever needed it for ballistics testing or.
Sure.
Wow, good for
Yeah.
you. Very
Have
smart.
you ever thought about getting into law enforcement?
You're right.
I'm serious.
Sometimes I question whether I should be or not. That was my first career choice before I was a teacher. Now I'm a social worker.
Yeah,
So-
I think that is. I think you're pretty good. You're real good, actually.
What
These guys how to do their job.
right, if I can ask real quick, what type of a gun and bullet was it again?
Okay, so the ballistics report has it listed as an EC9 Ruger 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
However, the news reporter found out when you run that serial number, it's actually an LC9 Ruger 9mm. So the ballistics report lists the wrong gun.
Ah, interesting. Just like the date of birth being messed up, saying that it was
Yes.
1979 and 2019. Yeah.
Right, and her spelling of her name being wrong, her internal organs being wrong, her hair color and eye color being wrong.
Go ahead and explain real quick, and then we'll jump back to the rest of this audio about the internal organs thing. What was that all about?
So she went for an autopsy with Frank Peretti. We got the autopsy report back. Immediately, her first name is spelled wrong. It's spelled Chrystal. So I go line by line. They have her listed as blonde hair and blue-eyed. She was as dark-headed, as dark-eyed as I am.
Right.
And then her internal organs were listed as unremarkable, her female organs. So that was impossible because she had had a hysterectomy several months before.
Wow.
So I reached out to the pathologist on December 24th of this past year because I was just having a bad day, and I reached out to him and I said, "Here are the list of discrepancies in my sister's autopsy report. Can you explain these to me?" And it was through a Gmail account, through my regular Gmail account. And he replies back about 3 days later, and he changes her autopsy report to reflect what I said.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So he, not knowing who I am, I could have been anybody. He
Right.
changes. He in an email he changes her autopsy without a body in front of him.
Mm-mm. Oh my God, dude, you can't do that. That's not
Yeah.
legal. And this was Frank Peretti.
Yes, out of Little Rock.
What is his title per se?
Medical pathologist.
Okay. Wow. See, guys, I told you there's a lot of discrepancies. I'm mind blown right now. Okay. That's insane. So obviously they were definitely not unremarkable. She had a hysterectomy,
She had a
folks.
hysterectomy, and so when he replied back to me, he said his notes indicated that she had had a full hysterectomy, and so he would correct them. But what he didn't realize is that I kind of set him up because she didn't have a full hysterectomy; she had a partial hysterectomy, which means that some of them should have been there, and not all of them.
There you go.
Well, this man lied 3 different ways this Sunday. Okay. In turn, did he do the autopsy? Now, is my question.
Here's the thing. When we went to go change her clothes at the funeral home, because we had to do her makeup and her hair and all that, there was no V cut on her chest. I'm not quite sure how you can do an autopsy and weigh organs if there's no V cut.
There was no.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Excuse me, but
And
this is
I have the autopsy photos, and none of the autopsy photos show any of that. There's actually 2 different case numbers on her autopsy report, 0125 and 0126. So we're not quite sure which autopsy is hers.
Oh my goodness.
oh wow. Okay, not to be, I don't want to upset you again, but
No.
once this was all said and done, what happened with Crystal's body?
Her husband had it cremated against our wishes.
Of course he did.
I knew that was coming next. Oh my God.
I called 48 attorneys when he found that shell casing. I called 48 different attorneys and district attorneys to try to halt the cremation because it was suspicious that he found the shell casing. In the state of Louisiana, I have no power as her sister. My mom had no power as her mom because he was next of kin. He held all the power. So he actually holds all of her ashes. We have a headstone that you'll see in that news video. That headstone is in my backyard because we have nothing to bury. He wouldn't even give us the ashes.
Oh wow, Doodle. No V cut, and you have pictures of this to prove it, right?
Right.
Do you have several lawyers?
We have 2 lawyers out of New Orleans, Chris Murrell and David Utter. They're more civil rights attorneys than they are like criminal wrongdoing as far as malfeasance or, police misconduct, things like that.
Okay.
They're still in contact with me, but
I'm going to send you some information on a pro bono lawyer.
That's what I'm looking for, is another lawyer that will take this on.
Yeah, he is from Missouri, but he's hardcore, and like he's pro bono and he's for justice. He's rare, I know, but yeah, I will send you his information. I will actually call him and have him call you because
absolutely.
This is big. That you need someone out of state, I think.
Agreed.
Yes, and the fact that recently they said that my sister's case was still open to deploy giving out any more public records. It makes me wonder, is the statute of limitations on a civil case, does it start over once the case is reopened? I have so many questions.
Well, that will differ in each state, but I don't listen. This is big. This is
Yeah, it is
this
big
is
time.
beyond one lawyer. Even this is this you're on the right path for sure because
Yeah.
just what we've been told right here is enough that you need an out of state lawyer, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I tried to get an out-of-state attorney, but it was just nobody would touch it because it involved law enforcement. It involved
Exactly.
him being with law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to say, Doodle, that this qualifies for the Department of Justice to be looked into.
Yeah,
This,
Oh,
yeah. Well, it will
yeah,
go that far, but she has to find someone that's unbiased in that
Yeah.
state.
right.
That is
That's what I
for
mean.
that will be for Crystal and Crystal only.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil, February 9th of 2023, Phil. Wow, I can't get past the autopsy at this moment. Just give me a second to like complete that thought because that's unbelievable. Let me finish this audio, guys. Listen close, and we'll move forward because there's many more things that go with this. But again, Jana, I appreciate your time so very much on this, very much so.
How far it was
Right.
from the bed. It's 5 to 6 feet, probably, maybe even further than that. We just did not search that top of that
Right. Okay.
makeup stand, maybe like we should have.
Okay.
But again, there in the photo, you can plainly see the shell casing is laying there.
Okay, that'll leave that.
How five sets of eyes overlooked that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that does address
Please,
that.
please know and understand. I have no doubt in my mind it was an oversight on our part that we didn't see it. It's laying there,
Right.
and you can plainly see it in the photograph.
Okay.
So,
Well, that was my concern.
I want to know who was in charge of the photographs that took this picture because my question now is that 7 days allows time, and the point that I'm at with this now, I've only had to hear a little bit, and I've already made my decision. Is that I very much believe that this whole thing was a setup with the bullet. Somebody came back and took a picture, or somebody took a picture and handed it over to somebody else, so on and so forth. I don't believe that would no. So, where was the casing tested for prints? Do you know that, Jana?
Yeah, there was no fingerprint done on anything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. My God.
Not even the gun.
Huh.
Nice.
Imagine that. Wow. Go ahead, Phil. Do your thing on this one. Good Lord Almighty. Okay, moving on. Oh, so that was the end of that. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Again, so you hear what it says. I'm completely floored at this point. So, all right, Doodle, which audio did you want me to pull this up for initially to play?
The initial interview where they interviewed Tony.
Okay, I'm looking for that one right here. It's under.
I think it says it, doesn't it, Jana, where it says 7 minute. It's a 7-minute video, I believe.
Yeah, it should be 7 minutes. I think I uploaded it to YouTube.
Is it a short or a video?
Should be a video. Should be 7 minutes.
I may have seen that on the Facebook page. I thought I saw it on the channel though.
I don't. Hold on. No, I don't see it under videos, shorts.
Yeah, it might not be on there. It might be the
Facebook.
The Facebook, yeah.
Okay, I can pull that up too. That's no problem. Hold on here. I have both. Just bear with me, folks. You're gonna want to hear all of this stuff. I promise you. Wait, where is it? Right there. Okay.
One of you guys remind me to put it on the YouTube playing.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Remember how far down it was, Doodlebug?
Let me look real quick.
It's fine. Let's see. It only takes one. KNOE. Hold on. Sorry, Miss Jana. My apologies.
Oh, you're fine.
There's a lot to look at. So, is it under media? Or files? Let's see here. Media.
I had an idea.
Let me see here. Wait. Hold on 1 second, folks. My son had to ask me a question.
What was his reasoning for taking all 5 copies of the death certificate?
There was no reasoning for it.
He just did it to be.
He took all 5 copies. This is kind of the reasoning why. When my sister passed away, she didn't have any insurance at all. He thought she had a $65,000 life insurance policy that he tried to claim the next day, but because she hadn't been working at that State Farm agency for that long, he couldn't claim it. So,
that made him mad.
Yeah, it did. He actually went up there. So the funeral director said she didn't have insurance, so he said he was going to take out a loan to pay for it. And I said no. I was like, I'll pay for it. And the funeral director suggested we start a GoFundMe account. He said, well, I don't know how to do that. I said, well, I do. So I started the GoFundMe account, and it collected enough to pay for the flowers, to pay for her viewing, which he didn't want. He just wanted her cremated. He didn't want a viewing. So we paid for all that. And then he thought there was going to be money left over. So after the visitations and things like that, he tried to get me to give him the money that was left over. I think it was like $700 left in the account. And I told him no. So he sued me through GoFundMe. And GoFundMe sided with me. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, based off of the facts, I'm not giving him a penny, knowing that I don't know what happened to my sister. So I was like, I can write a check to my oldest nephew, or I can go buy her a headstone, one or the other, because he's not getting any money. So they closed the case. GoFundMe sided with me, closed the case. He got no money. And then that's when he decided to keep the ashes and all 5 copies of the death certificate.
Childish. He seems so childish.
Yes.
Yes, very much so. Did you find that by chance, Doodle?
I did. It's taking me to Google Drive.
Yeah, it's a Google Drive.
Okay, let's see if I can.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't see it there. I'm so sorry. I found something in Facebook that's linked to her husband's interview.
Yeah, right above that in blue. Click that, and it should take you straight to it.
Hold on, I gotta go back to it because I just walked it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's from October 7th.
Well, when I click on it, it opens up this big screen, and I'm trying to. It won't let me open it. Hold on 1 second here. It's in a. Where did you pull that up, Doodle? Under media or files?
It made me send a request.
Okay, I can accept it.
Okay, and then it should. Then I should be able to send the link to you.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Sorry,
I have everything like locked down. Where the
no,
I don't blame
you. You're being very smart. That's the best way
definitely.
to do this. Best way to do this. Okay, hold on.
I will tell you something. The reason why I wanted to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
When I saw the doodle bug fart.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Let me explain to you. My sister's password to her computer was what was it? Fart monkey. Because that was her favorite word to use. So I was like, this is like destined to be, because I just don't talk to like anybody. Like, I'm very precautious. And so when I saw that, I was like, that's her giving me a joke, because fart monkey was her favorite word.
That's
God. You got,
and it's weird.
Tears, because my grandpa called me that. He called me, come here, little doodlebug fart, and it stuck. So
wow.
I'm the joker, I'm the player, I'm the one to make everybody laugh. And when you describe your sister as being a joker, I was like, wow, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
And when I found out her birth date, it blew my mind, because my son's birth date is the same exact day, except for the year, of course. But that was a sign for me. Like, this is interesting. So, and these are the cases that we really put a lot of heart into. There's quite a few others that we've done this with because of the way it works and the obvious corruption, I guess you could say. Oh, wait a minute. Is this asking me to sign in?
I sent you the link in Discord.
Right.
Accepted mine. Is it going to make you have to sign in too?
Well, when I clicked on it, it says, sorry, you do not have access to this. That's all we know.
Well,
I get why she's locked it down.
oh yeah, definitely.
You should for sure, but we'll work it out. It's no big deal. Google Drive sign in.
Yeah, you may have to sign into your Google Drive.
It won't let me do that either.
Oh, well.
Are you able to open the link yourself, Doodle?
Yeah, I can open it, but it's not I can't share it. It's not letting me share because you have to sign in for me to share.
Okay, hold on a minute. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn that off. Yeah, it won't even let me sign in on this one.
I mean, either way, we know that it's a 7-minute interview, and that he led the whole interview by saying what he thought it was in the beginning, which is so unprofessional because he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. He does not know the cause of death at that minute. Just because it looks the way he thinks doesn't mean he's right.
Absolutely.
That's just so odd to me that, I mean, is this an older guy? Is he seasoned in this work, or is he just not caring?
He just recently came back to that parish. I think they had fired him. The previous sheriff did, for some things that he had done, extracurricular activities that didn't involve his wife. And then he was brought back. That's what we found from public records. So I don't know how long exactly he's been in law enforcement.
Wow.
I did figure out how to share the live stream on my Facebook while we're waiting, though.
Oh,
there you go. There you go. Good stuff. So we also have where was it the district attorney P. Ducier?
Yeah, her name is Pennywise, by the way.
Pennywise Ducier.
Pennywise Ducier.
Wow, Ducier.
So, you know.
That's fitting. Denied the family copies of the police report. What's that all about?
So after we got nowhere with the sheriff, we followed the chain of command. We went to the district attorney. We wanted the autopsy report and we wanted the police report. So she hands us a police report to share and read it between the two of us. So I asked her first, can we have another copy of this? And she goes, no, I don't think you're really supposed to have that. And then my brother reads it a little further and he realizes, okay, this police report is wrong. And he said, and you're saying we can't have another copy of this? She goes, no, you can't. Why? What's wrong? And that's what she says in the interview. And that's when he goes in to tell her everything that's wrong with the police report. And he ends up storming out angrily before I get to see the crime scene photos. I stayed behind. He let his emotions get the best of him. He ended up coming back in a little later on. But the biggest thing with the district attorney was I didn't say anything in these meetings, very little. I let my brother talk. When she told me that common sense could tell you that your brother-in-law knew what he was going home to that day.
Wow.
That was the most damning statement, is that common sense can tell you he knew what he was going home to that day. That's why he got a welfare check done.
And who said that to you?
The district attorney.
But she wouldn't do any charges. She wouldn't take that any further than that. So in other words, she doesn't think that she doesn't think that your sister was harmed.
Right. But common sense will tell you
if she thought that she was, there was no way to prove it. So therefore, we have to just ignore the facts.
Right.
Wow. So the police report is probably because they don't match.
They don't
match.
On
that first. Yeah. That's exactly the problem with not wanting to give you that police report, because it doesn't match the initial one.
And then there's another police report because my attorneys did public records request. So they actually got another police report. And the thing that was changed was in the police report I got, it says it calls him Tony, they were pretty personal. Well, they changed Tony to Mr. Jones when they gave it to my attorneys to take away the familiarity of it.
Nice.
I don't know why you would do that.
It takes the personalness out of it. Yeah. Okay. So I do have some questions. If we may be backtracking a little bit, Jana, in the chat. Yeah. I was trying to pull all this up, so I didn't get to see the chat's questions, and I'm sorry, guys. But we do know, to answer some of your questions, Phil and Murky, I believe. Welcome, Crystal Williams. Thank you for joining us today. Who tested the casing for prints? Miss Janet, do you know?
No one. There was no testing for prints.
Oh, so there was nobody that did it then. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Also, thank you for that, Doodle. Or I mean SRB, sorry. Yeah, JC's very bizarre. Yeah, I agree, Molly. There is no. Okay, and Phil is again asking, are there any crime scene photos at all?
There's less than 40. When I did a public records request from the coroner, he gave me four photos. That was it. And then I did public records request for the sheriff's department. They gave me approximately 27. When my attorneys did a public records request, they gave them about 10 more. So there's
40.
there's less than 40 crime scene photos. And in the meeting with the district attorney, she wasn't able to operate her computer without help. So she had her lead investigator, which was Victor Smith, come in, and they're scrolling through the crime scene photos, and you can hear him say, "That's it." And she goes, "That's it." He goes, "Yeah." And he looks at me. He said, "I'm sorry, but there's not many crime scene photos." Her lead investigator actually said that.
Wow, that's the DA's lead investigator. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I'm catching up, Phil. Don't worry. You too, Murky. I'm sorry. Like I said, guys, I was trying to get these other videos to load. So, okay. And Phil says, I think we already touched on that, but that's okay. She passed in her room where her makeup case was, or jewelry box. Where was the casing eventually found? It was on that.
On a makeup stand.
Which is where the jewelry box and stuff was?
Right.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Murky says now answers one of my questions. If any money could have been involved, which means we know now because of the life insurance policy not being valid. Okay. Right. All right. And then Phil says again, it's on my Google. Can't get YouTube to take it without access to all my photos. Not letting it happen. It's all the other. Okay. Right. That's the same thing we're all having with it, which is understandable. Yeah. And again, thank you all for joining us for this, because obviously you guys can see that this is a horrible mess. I'm looking. Well,
the time of death. I noticed that was such an issue.
Okay, so the time of death on the coroner's report, it had 10:30 a.m. typed into the coroner's report. Then it's crossed out with a black Sharpie, and then the time of 5 o'clock is handwritten in there, 5 p.m. Wow. Her time of death on her death certificate, though, is 11 a.m.
What the hell? Wait a minute.
How does that even make any kind of sense? Because come on. Well, my God.
Yeah, and so,
well, we've seen stuff like this before, Doodle, with the Idaho 4 case. The time of death was marked as like 12 noon.
Yeah,
didn't get there until
5
4.
o'clock is probably when they removed her body. And so they're all confused.
Well, they didn't remove her body until 6.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
yeah, I was there when they removed her body.
Anything. They're guessing. This is all guesswork, and that's not what you do. My goodness.
It sounds like every one of these people is working with.
Yeah.
Did they explain to you why they chose that time of 11 on that death certificate?
When I got the death certificate, I had to do a VITA check or something. I had to apply for her death certificate. And in the state of Louisiana, thankfully, as a sister, you can do that. So once I got her death certificate, I texted the sheriff, and that video is on YouTube. I texted the sheriff and I asked him to give me a call because I had some questions. So he calls me, and when I tell him that there's an 11 o'clock time of death on the death certificate, he becomes irate with me and says there is no way that a time of death can be established in my sister's case, and he didn't know what my family was trying to prove. Basically accused me of forging the death certificate, and he said, "Who signed off on that?" So it took me a minute. I had to go find the death certificate, and I said, "Lewis Carter." And he goes, "Well, that's my coroner." And I was like, "Well, that's who signed off on it." It's 11 o'clock.
He said there is no way.
He said that he could line up 10 professionals, and there's no way that you could just determine the time of death in my sister's case. Now she was inside.
Maybe not an exact to the minute, but you can know by several reasons of your training to know things settle. They
can do a liver temperature test. They can do a liver temperature test on her. And
speaking of that, can you tell her or tell him what they said her temperature was on this death certificate?
Cold.
That's what they put. Cold.
What was the temperature given with cold?
Just cold.
They didn't give a temperature on it?
No, no.
Oh, good Jesus. Are you okay? I don't even know what to say. Okay. So I'm gonna I believe this is the call on the death certificate, which you were talking about, Jana. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this, guys. Again, I don't know how it sounds, so just let me know how the audio is and maybe turn it up or headphone it or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and put the subtitles on again. I am so sorry that you've been through all this, Jen. I really am. This is unbelievable. It really is.
Well, if it was her case by itself, I would say you could feel sorry for me. But once I went to Washington with families that have been fighting the same thing, like the Christian Andriacchio case, which is the case that I compare my sisters to,
yeah,
that mom is phenomenal, and it's been 10 years and she's still fighting.
We have many that are in this community itself. Miss Barbara Hall, Kimberly Lott. There's many that we've covered out of the state of Missouri, actually, that have had the same type of stuff happening. Different circumstances, but it equals out to be the same type thing. So yeah, it's not just you, it's not just them, it's all over the place, and it's a very bad thing, you know. And I appreciate the fact that you're strong enough to stand up against this and not bow down to what they want you to do. So you know, God bless you for that, for sure.
Thank you.
Who wrote the word cold? That's a good question. My other co-host, Mama Bear, has asked. She's in our chat right now asking that question.
The coroner.
The coroner, which was again Lewis. What was his name?
Lewis Carter.
Carter. Okay, thank you. Just trying to make my notes stand up. All right, there you go, Mama Bear. Yeah, this is probably almost worse than as bad as Ellen Greenberg's case as well. Love a little. Welcome back. Good to see you today. Sorry, and Landon Wester's YouTube channel. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, JC. Good to see you as well. Christian and Draco. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So much. Thank you guys all for joining us again. Please make sure to share this. Hit that like button as you're on your way in the door so we can put this in the algorithm so everybody can see this. Thank you guys. All right, here we go, guys.
And so you know, the difference in the timeline that was on his where it pinged his phone, you know, at Sonic, at Walmart. He actually didn't make it to Forest High School till around noon. So that's just, I guess that was our main concern, was after, you know, we had to pay for the death certificate. He didn't turn one over to us. And the time of death was the time that he was passing by their house. And I'm not.
There is no time of death. There's that, and if you're looking at a death certificate that's got a time of death on it, there is absolutely no way that anybody could put an exact time of death on. I don't care who they are, and I don't mind telling you that. Okay. There is that. Certainly, there's no way that they could make a determination. Tell me what time is on the.
Okay, first, before we hear that, I'm going to tell you that there are many ways.
Yes,
Lividity of the body. And this is from my experience in EMS. Lividity of the body, whether or not so that you guys understand what we're saying. If the body has and again, I hate to talk about your sister like this, Jana. I'm not trying to be impersonal. I'm just trying to make everybody understand. Yeah. Liver temperature testing is what we talked about already. All they said was cold. Sorry, excuse my language, but that's bullshit. That's just not.
There should, immediately it should be like temperature, muscle stiffness, the settling of blood in her body. There's so many other ways to know. I hate to say this, but like even insects, anything can tell time. And
rigor mortis setting in and the body forming. Yes, all of that stuff. The temperature should have read something like 94.7. Okay. It should have said something like that, not cold.
There should be stomach contents. That can also tell time of death. There's so many ways. This guy is so uneducated.
And for him to say that, to make that statement, is an absolute blatant lie. I'm sorry, but no. And the fact that there's multiple times here, I'm very, very, very thrown off. Yes, 100% ridiculous, Mama Bear. It really is. Okay, on we go.
11 o'clock.
And who would have put 11 o'clock on? Who put that on there?
I just ordered it off the Vita check through the state. I had to.
What I'm saying is who signed off? And
they said that West Carroll had to have done the time of death.
West Carroll, as in who?
The coroner's office.
No, absolutely false. Absolutely false. There's absolutely no way that any human being on this earth could say that she died at 11 o'clock. And listen, I hate to even be speaking in this tone of voice, but you're asking me here, and I'm just telling you point blank, okay? There's absolutely no way that anybody within reason could say that she died at 11 o'clock.
That is absolutely not true. That is absolutely not true. I don't understand this. I don't know if this man thinks that you are just like not smart enough to understand this, and he's just trying to pull this over the wool over your eyes. But this is insane. I am completely bent backwards over this. Wow. Again, I'm sorry for interrupting that, but I had to make that statement known.
After the holidays, I'm calling him.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to speak to him myself.
Yeah, have fun. I'll give you a cell phone number.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I need to talk to him.
Hell, I might put him on, bring him out and do it live. That way he knows.
Yeah,
he won't do it. He wouldn't even give a statement to the news reporter. He turned her down the last day and said that he refused to make a statement.
Because he's lying. That's why he's lying, and he knows he's lying. He's caught. This is what these people do when they're caught and they don't know what to do. So on we go.
I'm just telling you what I got in the mail. I mean, I can send you a picture of it. It's just
no, I don't need any of that. I'm just saying there's absolutely no way. And if you go line up 10 professionals that are in this same business, all 10 of them are going to tell you there's no way within a reasonable amount of time that somebody could say she died at 11 o'clock.
No. What's this man's name again, Jana?
Scott Matthews.
Scott Matthews. Me and you, Scott, need to have a talk. This is interesting because I'm not a professional, but I guess we could be considered professionals, Doodle, in certain aspects of this, being that we've had.
I don't know about professional because I'm retired, but at the same time,
here,
this guy right here, I don't know where he got his education, but I can't wait to ask him.
Yeah, where'd you get your commission from?
He was a wildlife and fishery agent before he was a sheriff.
Well, then he's educated. He's just lazy.
Yeah.
Or just maybe covering something up, possibly. And I hate talking about that like that, but just saying. Phil says hurdles and points. Actual time of death is not significant if the death was declared a suicide. 2, the initial DC is not the permanent record until certified, stamped with cause or undeterminable. Good point.
It was stamped.
It was stamped. Okay, it was stamped. Doodle, I don't know if you saw Sergeant Smellgood said to 10. Okay.
Yeah, my ex-partner is here. He's listening. So, he's wanting me to send him some information. So if you don't, I'll ask your permission first, of course, before I share anything with him. Jana,
you have my full permission.
He's an active deputy, not in your area, obviously, but still active.
In Missouri, yes.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to reach out to Draw Latina myself, who is an MD and a psychiatrist. And I want to get her point of view on this as well. And because she's, like I said, she knows all this stuff as well. Believe me, there's enough people within our community, Jana, that are able to pull the bullshit card on this and point out that this is just a mess, truly. So, all right, onward with the rest of this call, guys.
It could have been 10 o'clock.
Right.
It could have been 1 o'clock. So a 2-hour variance in y'all's mind is a big deal.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
Right. I mean, I completely agree with that, without a doubt.
Okay. So to be able to say that she died at straight up 11 o'clock and to compare that to a phone ping, that's ludicrous. I mean, and you told me y'all hired an attorney and a private eye. So
well, that's my brother. Like I said, that's totally different. That's why I asked you to call me away from family, because he's approaching it a way different way than I am. I mean,
I lied. So if he's gone to the length to do that, hey.
And I couldn't tell you anything else about it because, like I said, I had to distance myself for my own sanity.
I understand.
I mean, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
So, but again, if I were looking at that death certificate and it said 11 o'clock,
Right.
My first question would be,
Let me.
who determined that time? Did you determine that?
I'm gonna go grab it real quick. Let me see who it's. I just want to see who it's signed by. Hang on. Give me just a second, sure.
At best, and listen, you just send that to me later.
I finally put my hands on it.
At best, a time like that is an estimation.
I don't know if everybody noticed how the sheriff is stuttering all over the place when he's talking. First off,
he's stuttering because he knows he's had.
Yeah, he's everywhere with this.
He's caught. He's caught now, so he is doing the. Well, I don't know. Well, no, who did that? Like anybody to blame? Somebody, give me a name to blame. Anybody but me. Yeah.
Well, it comes out that it's his corner. So what did he?
Right.
Did he get off the phone and run to the corner and cuss him out? Because you shouldn't have done that. It's putting us out in the light. So.
Oh no, it gets better. Hold on, just listen.
I know.
You'll be surprised.
There's more coming, folks. Sorry, I keep interrupting. I just can't hold my tongue with this. I'm very appalled, and I promise you, Jana, we are going to make so much noise about this. We really are. Thank you for that again, SRB guys. This is the link to the change.org to reopen the investigation. Petition, please, everybody click this, sign it if you would, and let's get this going, guys. This needs to happen for sure. So again, thank you, SRB, for that. And on we go.
And you feel free to call the coroner or even the pathologist,
right?
And pose that question to them. How can you determine a time of death? And at best, that is a purely speculated estimation, okay? But to be able to say, okay, she died at 11, but his phone pinged in Bastrop at 12, or whatever the case may be.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, that's you're digging there. You're digging, and again, I don't even want to be using this tone of voice, but this has been put on my lap, and I've got to, okay? I want to be as perfectly honest with you as I possibly can be. And the things that y'all have brought forward to me are not valid and they're irrelevant to this case. Okay? And I don't mind digging into anything that you bring me. I'm just saying what you have brought forward to me, the emails and the Tennessee thing, this is... It has absolutely no bearing on this case whatsoever.
So what is he referring to, Jana, with the Tennessee thing?
So whenever I looked into his emails, the trash email, he had gotten a storage building in Tennessee like a week before my sister died and had just started paying payments on it. Mm-hmm. So we didn't know if he was trying to run and go to Tennessee. But it was just ironic that they're in such financial debt, but then he purchased this storage building in Tennessee. And then he said that storage building, that's just where they pay the note on it, is in Tennessee, but the storage building is actually located on their land. But it was the first of 48 payments, so he had just started paying for it. It's like he needed a storage building to put her things in.
Right. That was premeditated. So
right.
Absolutely. And that is definitely relevant. No, that's for him to say that is just a damn shame. So
and his anger. Why are you mad? What could you?
He's angry. He's very angry.
Yeah. Why would this guy be so angry at a family member for trying to get down to the bottom of a death, a loss?
He should be more understandable, of course. And he keeps apologizing for his tone, but keeps on with the tone. So, and like Phil said, the voice and the hesitation says a whole lot. I do agree. That's definitely not a natural stutter, Karen. This is I'm caught, and what do I say to get out of this now? So, yes. onward. Thank you for the information about the storage facility. And again, that's a premeditated situation, folks, that he happened before this happened. So why did he do that? Interestingly to know, you know what I mean? So
I understand. This death certificate was signed by Devin George.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Never heard of him. Is it?
It says state registrar.
Okay, that's going to be somebody with the state that has received and signed off on that death certificate. That's not anybody with my office. That's not anybody in the to do with the coroner. That's going to be a clerk somewhere in a office that has received that report and has stamped it as being the official whatever, yada yada yada, whatever.
Right.
You know, it was another point I was going to make here, but I'm completely lost.
It says the certifier was Lewis Carter.
Lewis Carter is the coroner.
Okay.
Lewis Carter does not establish a time of death. Lewis Carter does not establish a cause.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So the coroner doesn't give you a time of death or a cause of death. What the hell does the coroner do for this guy?
What do they do? Tell me. I'm sorry, Jen. I don't mean to laugh, but that's insane to me.
You have to laugh at it because I was waiting for it to get to that part. I've memorized these recordings. I even transcribed them so I didn't forget anything. So I know them word for word, and you can't do anything but laugh at it.
Okay, let me ask.
From crying. This is horrible.
Is there a medical examiner involved or just a coroner?
There's a medical examiner. They sent her body to Little Rock for an autopsy, but I found out recently the reason why she was sent to Little Rock to that particular pathologist was because it was cheaper.
Okay, so and that reason why I'm asking is because the ME or medical examiner, they do typically, in a lot of senses, have the final, but initially the coroner does that stuff. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, and that was the pathologist, the ME, whatever that we talked about. What was her name again?
Frank Peretti.
Or that's it, Frank Peretti, not her. Sorry.
Yeah, if you look him up, he's got a lot of sanctions against him too, like the West Memphis 4 or West Memphis 3.
Yeah, that's the name I remember there now.
Yeah.
That same guy.
The same guy.
My God. I knew that name sounded familiar. We just talked about that the other day, dude. Do you remember him?
Yes, yeah, I remember.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Making more sense.
No,
Okay.
Critical Minds. McButt didn't establish a time of death when she was first on scene, but she had 4, not 1, and also that's just a different circumstance because I mean that was brutal, horrible. But even if she worked with a medical examiner, they should work together. It's odd to me that this guy doesn't even realize that what a coroner does.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, and they should match.
It's actually sickening for the community because this is their protector here.
Once again, I don't know how many times we've seen this. So yeah, 100%. Phil says it's signed. Mabbit, the time of death was established at noon. Okay, because that's when, in my opinion, in that case, that's when the officers basically called the scene per se what it was. That's why.
Right.
But
and it is an estimate. It is an estimate. There is no given time of death certain without a witness. So that part I get, but he's pushing it as if you will never know, and that's not true.
And
that's
it.
Like, nope, you'll never know. That's not true.
Yeah.
So he's just lying to be lying.
This is ridiculous.
Okay. Those are all things that the pathologist and the doctor that does the autopsy does.
Gotcha.
And again, a time of death is purely an estimation. So let me put it in perspective like this. Had a body been inside a home for 3 days, do you think that they could establish a time of death?
That's way beyond my 2 degrees for sure.
Okay. The answer to that is no.
Wow.
So the same principle applies to this case. Within reason, you could say, okay, maybe it was 11, but it could have been 1, or it could have been 9, or it could have been 2. There's absolutely no way without a witness to witnessing that. There's absolutely no way that you could say it was 11 o'clock. There's not.
All right, like Phil states here, the autopsy is triggered by the unaccompanied death, not that they were investigating a homicide. So yeah, okay. Right. So this guy is literally trying.
But they didn't know that. There was no investigation.
A 7-minute conversation, and,
Right.
and they ruled this a suicide, folks, and that's not how that works. Okay. There needs to be a lot more steps taken before that happens. That's the problem with this. One of many. So on we go.
Okay, again, and I'll try to answer any question that you.
He can't answer anything. That's why he keeps stopping now, because he knows. Okay, I think he's trying to create a narrative in his mind to give to you. Right. Truly, that's what this sounds like. Sherry says he's full of that. And my father passed away at home while I was working. They knew from autopsy that he passed 11:45. Well, here's the problem with this, Sherry. There's photos pointing. I don't know how if you heard that, Wisdom. There's no V cut, okay, on her sister's body. After they stated that they did an autopsy and wrote an autopsy out, but how did they do an autopsy if they never went inside? I don't understand this, and I don't understand how nobody caught this either.
Without a V cut, they did not do an autopsy.
They didn't. They couldn't have. They just wrote things down and passed it on as that. Okay.
Right.
This is insane to me. Yeah, Mama Bear. You weren't here for that.
I guarantee you, they looked at prior health history and ran with everything they could.
And they got that wrong anyway, because
that was completely wrong.
Yeah, they got the wrong person's what they did. They looked up the wrong person and got the wrong health history.
Or they autopsied somebody else purposely.
Very possible. And that's, oh my God.
That's something that has happened in the past. Accidentally. I don't think that's the case in this one, though. Okay. Yeah, they said that her organs were unremarkable, which Jana said can't be possible because she had a partial hysterectomy. So in turn, the person went back and changed this as they were talking about this and said that, oh yeah, that's right. My notes say she had a full hysterectomy, but she didn't have a full hysterectomy. She had a partial. So they lied twice. This is unbelievable to me. Murky says again, did the pics show any lividity? It takes 6 to 8 hours for it to show up, and it's dark right.
Yeah. It does. They do show a little, but not what you would expect.
Okay, and where the weight of the body was laying, position, blood settling, right, and all of that, and
and so much can go with that too. I mean, how you're laying, is your head on a pillow? Is your upper part of your body up higher than the lower part? So many different things.
And you want to look at how the body's forming as well. Again, rigor mortis will set in and then release, and then the body starts to form, so on and so forth. So yes, this is out of line completely. So again, I'm sorry I keep stopping, but I can't. These things are driving me nuts. So
you may have. Please don't misunderstand me here. I'm just saying that these things that y'all have brought forward have no validity to them as far as what has happened in this case.
I understand. I mean, like I said, it's things, different stories that he told. I mean, just even between us, I guess it just didn't sit well. And I said that, like I said, that's why me and my brother had to distance ourselves. We were getting told 2 different stories, just by him. And it just didn't make sense. So
Something else that I find odd is the bruising.
yeah.
This autopsy report that they come out with or whatever says there was no bruising.
Right.
But photos show that there is bruising.
Yeah, and the funeral director told us, when I say us, I mean me and my sister-in-law, to take the pictures, especially of her left wrist, because he said that was not normal bruising after an autopsy, because the body can't bruise after you're dead. It doesn't. That's not how it works.
That's
No,
that's
right. Let me ask a quick question that I didn't ask earlier. Did Tony work under this same sheriff when he was?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, onward.
That's a huge conflict of interest.
That's what we were talking about. So.
Yeah, there's a video. It's a short video. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long. At the very beginning of the first interview with Sheriff Matthews, my brother brings up inherent bias, and he tells them, we're just concerned because there's so much inherent bias. He's saying that he's known you guys for 20 years. We just want another set of eyes looking in on it. And they talk about it for about 3 minutes, and it's completely disregarded.
And where is that at?
It's in YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
Yeah. There was a crime scene photo of the makeup stand that was shown afterwards, and then they circle a little bitty glare like off of a makeup brush to say that was the shell casing. So yeah, there is a picture of the makeup stand, but you can't see anything on it.
Is that picture or video available anywhere?
It was
I can grab it off Facebook. I think it's on Facebook.
Yeah, I think I had to remove some of them off Facebook. The private investigator wanted me to, but it was that picture was used in the news article, in the KNOE news article. They put it up there.
Got you. Let's see here. Nor Jasmine, Annalise, Kendall Ray, Bailey Sarian, True Crime. So okay, hold on a minute here. All right, we're going to look at this too. This is a sorry about that. A KNOE news clip. I'm going to play this for you guys as well.
Yeah, that gives a lot of information.
Great stuff.
On the morning of February 9th, 2023, Crystal Jones made a doctor's appointment, but she never made it. Some say the investigation into her death is riddled with mistakes. Now, almost 2 years later, the family says they are haunted by questions that may never be answered.
One second, folks. Phil says, okay, is there a photo from the day of the casing? Okay, is there a photo from the day they found the casing, and were any items distributed or moved?
They did send a picture over where the casing was found. I don't know if anything was moved or not.
Well, let me ask you something, Janet. Did you see more than one picture of that makeup stand?
No, just one.
There's only one. Okay.
Only one picture.
What I want to know is if there were pictures taken like the day of, and then that picture popped up. That's why I'm wondering if there was only one. Because if there was
that picture popped up when I met with the district attorney's office, or in the public records request in the district attorney's office. I'd never seen it before, so it did show up later.
It was a later picture. Okay, There you go, Phil. That was my question too. So I still wonder if that was something that happened after the fact. Wow. Thank you, Molly. 1 second, guys.
Did the sheriff know he was being recorded when you were speaking to him?
No, ma'am, because it's a one-party state, so you don't have to tell them.
Okay. All right.
Right. What is the appropriate time to date the death of spouse? February 13th.
You're good. I'm telling you, you need to look into law enforcement. You'd be awesome detective. I mean it. I mean,
yes, very much. Thank you, Molly. I got that. I had already had that. I appreciate that though. Because compare the photos forensically, location, who touched what, his prints. Well, there's only one photo, Phil, and there were no prints, none at all. No, they didn't test for any. There are none. So, which makes no sense to me. I mean, I don't know. In that, if that's the case, they never got to go back take prints to differentiate between Tony's and anything else. There was none done ever. So that's a problem in itself. Because they looked at it automatically as a, suicide. So therefore, they weren't looking for that kind. It wasn't cordoned off as a crime scene, I guess you could say, which I think is ridiculous to me. Because regardless, it should have been. There's got to be another photograph that's just not been put out. They didn't treat it as a crime scene, that's what I'm taking from it, and they should have, but they didn't take photo when casing was found. Here's what happened. They didn't find the casing until 7 days later, Phil. That's when they found the case. You must not have caught that. That's why you're probably getting confused. Tony, the husband, called Jana's brother and said, "Hey, I found the gun, the shell casing." Sorry. And that was 7 days after the fact. Okay. But then he also said, "Do not," how did he say it, Jana? Please, as a favor to me, don't.
Yeah, as a favor to me, don't say anything to Alan Irby, Chief Investigator Alan Irby, as a favor to me, because he was already distraught about not finding it.
Which is ridiculous. That's stupid to me. So therefore, that picture was taken. There was a picture taken of where they found it, but they didn't find it the day they took the picture.
Right. It was 7 days later.
And then they looked at the picture and tried to say there's a glare, and that's the shell casing.
Right.
Which, this is so dumb. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's in this news clip too. You can see it circled in yellow, and you'll have to look and see. It just looks like the glare off of a makeup brush or something.
Okay, good. That'll prove that then. That's awesome. So they're not going to take pictures because they weren't there, so it was already tampered with by the husband. That's what I'm guessing, right. Lisa, truly. So, all right, I'll let this play, and we'll get to that spot and find that too.
A West Carroll Parish Sheriff's deputy found Crystal Jones dead inside her home after Crystal's husband, Tony, called the deputy asking him to conduct a welfare check. According to the investigative report, just hours later, the chief deputy interviewed Crystal's husband for the first time.
I'll be taking the statement from Tony in reference to a self-inflicted gunshot wound of his wife, Miss Crystal McCory Jones.
Crystal's sister, Jana, believes it should have been investigated more before the sheriff's office declared it a suicide.
It took them 7 minutes to interview him. And in that 7-minute interview, they mentioned that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Eventually, reports did come back. According to letters sent to state police from Jana's lawyers, those reports were full of errors and discrepancies. Jana says one glaring mistake made her question the entire investigation. The investigative report states law enforcement never found the shell casing. The husband did a week later. But Sheriff Matthews says the casing is pictured in the crime scene photos.
That's when I said something is wrong.
What was this gun listed as, Jana?
An EC 9.9mm.
Doodle?
It's not clear enough for me to know for sure.
No, it's really.
But remember, he said it 5 times. It's plain as day in a crime scene photo.
It's not, though. That could be anything. And even the shape of it. I'm not okay with that. That doesn't remind me of a shell casing by any means whatsoever. Okay, here's my question. And this stand was, they said 5 to 6 feet away from where the body was found, right?
It was more like 7.
7 foot. So, Doodlebug, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Somebody does put a gun to their own head and do this.
Mm-hmm.
The shell ejects from the chamber, as it does.
Mm-hmm.
7 feet from the body?
It can, yes. Especially with what they said, the limp wrist, because that would explain why the second shell didn't go in.
Okay. Now, let me ask this, though. the way she was laying in the bed, the headboard, where was the headboard facing, Jana, as compared to this table?
So the table was behind it.
Behind the headboard.
Yeah, further, like to the right and behind it.
Okay. And she was right-handed?
She says she was right-handed.
Okay.
And the
that actually does line up a little, but see, my problem is it's hard to say if that is a casing because it does sort of look like the rim of the casing, like over to the very top. See, it has a little line
right
but
there. That's the only
it
thing
could
I was.
also be the glare off of this brush and this red deal here. So you really can't tell how they could tell that as a casing by that. There's no for sure way. I can't 100% say that that's not a glare.
Well, here's my question: when they investigated the scene, they didn't look around, move things on this table to look at everything?
No.
That's what I don't understand. So
they went in with no investigation. They went in, saw what they saw, immediately made up their mind, which they are not trained to do. They went with their own gut, and you don't do that. You follow evidence.
Of course. So, okay, I'll keep going with this. I just wanted to see that specific part of that picture.
That could also be a button to that red thing.
Right.
And that's the other thing, though. If they would have, the thing is, Karen, is if they would have seen that, yes, they would have moved the brush. They would have put something there to show what it is, size-wise, a marker, all that. But according to what was stated, they never saw this when they took the picture. So, okay.
Why would you not search for the casing? Why would you not?
Well, they said they did. They said that they searched all over.
There's no way. I wouldn't leave that home without it. If you think that's what happened here, you have to find that casing. That you can't leave that home without it. You do not. This is a secured crime scene. You don't leave without it. You don't leave that crime scene unless you find what you need, and then it's an instant. Then you're fine to leave.
The crime scene was never secured, though. That's the other side of it.
Right, but I mean, logically, it should have been.
Agreed. I agree. All right. There's more. So onward, and we have other stuff too. So.
I said something is wrong because he said that casing was plain as day in a crime scene photo that 5 sets of eyes had missed, and it wasn't there. It's in no crime scene photos.
As the investigation continued, Jana says the amount of errors kept piling up. According to the case file, the ballistics report misidentified the gun. You can see on the ballistics report, it identifies the gun as a Ruger EC9, but if you check the serial number, it's actually an LC9. The coroner's report had multiple mistakes, including Crystal's name being misspelled, incorrect birth and death dates. The time of death was scratched out and changed, and health conditions were listed that Jana says Crystal did not have.
It also listed that she had pneumonia and seizures. My sister never had any of those medical problems.
I talked to a retired police chief with over 20 years.
Okay, so I'm going to have to jump on the fact that I believe they autopsied somebody else. I truly do at this point. They autopsied another body altogether. You can't tell. Welcome, Mama Bear. This is my other co-host, Jana. She must have worked a regular job, so she couldn't be here till now. So thank you for joining us, Mama Bear. Appreciate you.
No problem. Hi, Jana.
Hi.
I have another question, too, about the gun. Is there, is that the only gun that was in the home? And is the gun that they got wrong, is that gun in the home?
No. So the other gun that was in the home right behind her head on the headboard was a 45 caliber gun.
Okay.
And then there was a rifle in the corner in a crime scene photo by the gun safe because he said he had lost the keys to the gun safe. Okay. So there was a rifle propped up against the thing. The gun that they listed doesn't exist in their home.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. Hearing the pneumonia, you have to see the lungs for this.
Well, they also mentioned she had diarrhea, pneumonia, atrial fibrillation, and seizures.
That's not her, though. None of those things were her. So this is a different body altogether.
The reason for the diarrhea, and this is sad, is that, again, uneducated, the body defecates at times. When you pass, your body relaxes, things come out.
Every time.
Never have put that on there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not to-
Atrial fibrillation, you can't, I mean, it doesn't leave a mark. The heart has to actually be pumping in order to say atrial fibrillation. So that
Right.
doesn't make sense.
and again, I mean, there couldn't be damage to the heart for certain if it happens regularly. That's fine, but none of these things existed within Crystal. Pneumonia, none of that stuff. Seizures, she did not have
No.
any of that stuff. So they autopsied, in my opinion, a completely different body. Was it done on accident or on purpose? That's the problem. Okay. Did they autopsy the other body to throw everybody off? Did they autopsy the other body because they're idiots? Which way did it go? That's my question.
Jenna, have you thought about looking into seeing any other deaths in that area or in the area of the autopsy place to see if another female, her age even?
I did, and there were no females of her age.
Okay.
I did reach out to some people in that area that had the same sheriff's department investigate their death, whether it be a suicide, an accident, or homicide. And I've gotten some feedback to where there have been suicides in that area that they didn't think were suicides. Shortly after, our big thing was the state police wasn't allowed to come in, and my sister's case was the only case in that parish where the state police was not allowed to come in.
What was the reason given for that?
There was no reason for it. Apparently, it was she died in February. So in April, there was a domestic call that came in where a woman called and said that her husband had shot and killed himself. So they immediately called in the state police, and then the state police determined that the wife had actually done it, and she was arrested. This is in the same small town. And she was arrested for, second-degree murder, but the state police was allowed in. The state police her case is the only one the state police wasn't allowed to touch.
So how did that go about? Like, how did it come about with the whole state police situation?
They have to be invited in the state of Louisiana. Unless they're invited in, they can't come in. And so once I contacted the state police, they did a little research. They tried to come into the sheriff's department, and they denied them. They denied them the right to come in.
Wow.
Red flag.
Absolutely. Good Lord Almighty. We already talked about in the beginning, you said that they said they bagged her hands for GSR, but they never did it.
They never bagged her hands. And then I emailed the pathologist to double check to make sure that her hands were not bagged. And he emailed me back and said hands were not bagged.
So there's no way to tell whether there was GSR in her hand from using the gun, supposedly. That's information. But
right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've heard of that happening, Phil, but it's just convenient within this case, state to state. I understand. And no, there was no testing for GSR. And do you know if they tested Tony for GSR?
No, they didn't.
Surprise. Damn it.
Also, the weapon choice to me is suspicious. Because if that was behind her head and you were set and doing something like this, you would go with the bigger caliber. And she was a very intelligent woman, so I'm not going to believe that either.
No. None of this is no. I don't even know what to say in some senses. This is just appalling, completely, absolutely. Yeah, they didn't test him at all, Tony, Phil. So yeah. See, now you got Phil throwing swear words out there. Unbelievable. Okay, onward.
Years of experience in police work. He says when simple details are incorrect, it raises questions.
I don't want to criticize another law enforcement agency or somebody that's in that business, but the truth is the truth. And if you don't do a thorough job and get all the details right that are obvious, that would cause me to ask a lot of questions.
According to the case file, there was no canvassing of the area, no interview with neighbors, and there were less than 40 photos taken of the scene. In some photos, the family dog could be seen on the bed with the body.
They would handle things totally different if it was their loved one. I think that they just messed up from the very beginning.
Feeling like the West Carroll Sheriff's Department failed in their investigation, Jana reached out to one of the leading cold case private investigators in the country.
I believe the steps that were taken in Jana's sister's case has caused concern in the community, as it should. And that takes away the credibility of the sheriff.
We reached out to the West Carroll Sheriff's Department with requests for their policies and procedures to investigate homicides, suicides, gunshot deaths, as well as securing and photographing crime scenes. In an emailed response to KNOE, Sheriff Matthews said, quote, "We did not deny your request. We simply did not have that information to provide to you."
How is that?
That's what the next guy is about to ask, the same thing, that you don't have standard operating procedures. How can you operate anything?
Right. Thank you. Now backing up real quick. Doodle, how many scenes have you been on that you've seen that you've taken a picture with the dog in the scene?
No dog. No dog. The dog cannot even be in the same room. Prefer it not even in the house, to be completely honest.
Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to clarify something because I've never seen that happen either in my time. So, wow. Okay, next we go.
You got to have policies and procedures and protocols for how you go about doing things. You know, there are certain steps that are just certain steps. I don't care if it's in Louisiana or Michigan or wherever it is. There are certain steps that you go through to develop a profile.
After being turned away by state police and the state attorney general's office, Jana and Sheila went to Washington, D.C. to ask lawmakers for help.
I believe that the city should probably start looking at Jana's case because, in my opinion, people have stepped out of the rules, and that makes the city have a problem.
I reached out multiple times to Sheriff Matthews for an interview to see if he could explain some of the errors in the investigation. At one point, he did agree to talk. On the day of our scheduled interview, he never answered my calls. He later told me he was no longer interested in speaking. In the meantime,
Gee, imagine that. What is the PI's name on this, Jana?
That one is Sheila Wasaki. And then we have Lindsay Smith. I know that's like the best PI name ever because you're never going to find her. And Angela Rothman.
So you've had three. Okay, good.
I've had 3.
And all of them have pretty much been on the same page with this?
Yeah, all of them say the same thing. Lindsay Smith actually is out of Dallas, Texas. She runs this nonprofit called Unsuiciding Suicide Deaths.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's one of those people that she has to tell a lot of families that, you know, this is a suicide. This is what it is. When I met with her and I sent her the same case file or whatever, she immediately said, no, I'm going to tell you, no, that's not what is going on here. So she, if it wasn't for her and Angela, we wouldn't have the report from the life insurance policy. They were the ones that found out about the life insurance policy. They also got the witness statements from several other people about different things. So they did a really good job. And then we basically there were no more leads. And so we kind of just went off to somebody else and handed it to Sheila.
Absolutely. What was Angela's last name again?
Rothman.
Rothman. There we go.
And then next, his Google searches after.
Oh yeah, that's coming up next again. And real quick, so they didn't talk to neighbors. Did you hear this? Did you hear that? Did you see this? Did you see that? None of that.
No, and there was a neighbor that lived right next to them. They actually put a privacy fence up because they were so close.
Mm-hmm.
And they never questioned him. His land is actually up for sale now. So it makes me want to go get the number off that sign and go ask him questions.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Phil says, so here's the problem we face. Convincing anyone and everyone who will listen that there is a cover up is pretty easy. This chat will tell you it's that I'm not easy to win over, but see next. Oh yeah, Phil. Phil won't tell us what Phil does, Jana, but we have a good feeling that Phil is very involved in legal aspects and is very forthcoming with certain things, and it's very what do we call it, Doodle? You know, goes the opposite of certain things, and right. Phil, in my opinion, is very devil's advocate. Thank you. That's the word I was trying to think of. Phil very much plays devil's advocate, and even in this one, I think Phil is convinced at this point. So there's a problem. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Is a lot of people are looking at this going, this is just wrong. where'd it go? Convincing every resident in the county, even the state's DA, would get you where? Is there a provable crime here? 8, I believe there's a crime, to be clear. Many of them, in fact, but provable. Right. That's where your wall is. That you
Yeah,
keep running.
that's where my wall is.
Dude, what was that you had just mentioned? The next step we were talking about here with the
Google searches of what would you search on Google 3 or 4 days after your spouse has passed away? I mean, like, how to move on, how to grieve properly, some therapist numbers, how do I not lose my mind? How do I go on? Stuff like that. But
Sure.
he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that.
No, the Facebook account. Hold on. Sorry. 1 second here. No, he definitely didn't do that. He searched other things that I just don't even know what to say. Hold on a minute here.
I bet you feel
Right.
guilty. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yes. Beyond. Is it gonna let me open it? Let me see. Come on. Oh wait, we also have
And now it really makes me wonder how many times this has happened.
I know.
This isn't a first. I'm sure that he was so good at covering this up that he sounded, he got mad, but at the same time, he sounded familiar with his lies. That's worrisome too. How long has this guy just went through cases like this?
What I would like to know is if Crystal had maybe made a decision recently about their relationship, and you know how that goes sometimes.
Right.
And only spoke to him about it. So, excuse me. Let's see here. I'm trying to find. There's documents there. I'm trying to get this. Oh, Lord. Do you have it pulled up, Doodlebug?
No, but I can grab it real quick. I'll grab it.
Yeah, I can't get it to open up for me again. I don't know why I'm struggling. Sorry about the delay, everyone. And Jana, of course, my apologies.
No, you're fine.
Welcome, Elsie Perez. I can imagine everybody does. She seems like such a wonderful person. And this is just senseless, absolutely senseless. And I can't imagine her being, based on everything we've talked about, a person to do this. There's no reason to do this. Obviously, she had a loving family. She was about to become a grandmother. For those of you that weren't in here at the very beginning, it doesn't make any sense, guys. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And again,
Discord.
Okay, thank you. And Jenna, you said that she just wasn't that personality, to do something like that either.
No.
So that makes sense. Perfect sense.
What I have found in cases like this is if the female has any kind of past of depression, whatever, these husbands will use that to their advantage to do something like this. Because
he did
women
that.
deal with depression. Yeah, see, I didn't even know that. But that's common.
That's exactly what happened.
See, that's so common because that's like their perfect thing. Like, oh, look, I can do this. Everybody will never even think any different because she was depressed. And I hate that. It's such a stereotype these men get away with. Or women. Women do it too.
And Molly sent me this as well. I didn't even realize what she had sent me. Welcome, Demon. Thank you for joining us. Search for what is the appropriate time to date after death of spouse. No comment.
Yeah. So much for how do I move on? How do I deal with this? How do I make my child's life easier? None of that.
How do I grieve? How do I grieve?
Yeah, what do you do? What's a normal grieving process? How do I make it better? None of that.
And look at the 4 days. 4 days, folks, after she passed away. 4 days at 11:51 at night. When is the appropriate time to date? And Jana had stated that he had been on dating websites before. Yes. Okay. As in, probably, I'd venture to say the man probably cheated on her, sadly. I hate to say that too, but
I will tell you that back to the depression thing, that's what he used initially was that she was depressed because she took antidepressants. I take antidepressants. Pretty much the entire world takes antidepressants.
Yeah, right.
A depressed person. She had attempted a suicide 12 years ago, and which was an overdose. And she promised she'd never do it again because she had to live with that reality. So he used that against her wholeheartedly. And then with that Google search, his Facebook status the day that he went back to the house was February the 15th. It says first night back at home, not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Oh my goodness.
February 15th, you said?
February 15th was the first day back at his house. And he said, not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
And then they had like a meal train going on where people would come and bring meals to him and his daughter. And we actually got a statement from one of the women. He hit on her and sent her sexually explicit text messages.
What?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's real nice.
So I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, you're fine. We all have dogs. We get it. Trust me.
I have a whole herd of them. So they the private investigators actually got that in a written statement where he had sent sexually explicit text messages, images, and said that he still had needs. And this was like immediately after she died.
How can you even think? No, listen, guys, the needs, they don't exist at that point. If you're actually a real person and this is what, you know what I mean? You don't feel those things. You don't have that. No, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so did he go by Tony or Anthony, Jana?
Tony.
And how do you spell his last name again?
Jones, Jones.
Okay, I didn't know if he changed it or ran by a different name after this all happened.
Yeah, I changed her name on her headstone back to her previous married name because I didn't want Jones on it.
Oh, so I don't blame you.
That's why it says Watts on there.
Right, I get it. And is he on Facebook now?
He is. I think he's under Tony J. Jones. He has me blocked, but I think he's still on there.
Gotcha. Of course he would have you blocked.
Yeah, he blocked me from my sister's Facebook after she died too.
Huh.
Yeah, because I was tagging her and things, and so he went and blocked me. Thankfully, Facebook shut her account down.
Now, why would that hurt him? That didn't bother him. Come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. That was just to hurt you, and that's ridiculous. Like you guys haven't been hurt enough.
Exactly. Let's see here. What did this guy look like? Did he have a mustache?
Yes.
Balding?
Goatee balding, yes. Glasses.
Oh, so this goober right here then.
That's him. And his new girlfriend.
Wow. Okay.
In the house where he lived with my sister.
So he moved his new girlfriend into the house that they lived in together as a couple.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Jen. I really am so sorry. This should not be anything like what it is. I just wanted to see if this guy is living his life, and he looks pretty happy to me.
He's incredibly happy.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you familiar with this woman at all before now?
No, I'm not familiar with her. Her son did reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him some information that was just public records so that he would have it because basically he said his mom had just kind of disowned him and his sister and went and lived with this guy because none of her family approves of it. So she chose him over her family, which is kind of same way he did my sister. It was almost like a cult. Like you're going to have to choose between me or your family. You can't have both.
Right. I just wanted to know. I wonder if Tony knew her before your sister passed. I wonder.
That's a good question. They're from different towns. I don't know how they met.
Well, I don't mean it. The internet does lots of things.
Yeah, that's true.
And I had to wonder do you know her name? If not, I can find it. It's no big deal. Because I'm wondering.
If you wouldn't have asked me, I would have been able to tell you.
It's okay. I get it. We're the same way.
Yeah.
Hold on, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that search alone is just huge. It's a huge red flag. I mean, wow. Who would even think to do something like that? You're muted, Dago.
Sorry. I've been wondering, based on everything Jana's telling us, everything we've looked at, everything I've seen, now seeing this, how soon after your sister passing did these two end up in a relationship? Do you know?
Right at a year.
At right about a year. So that's maybe they decided that was the right time to do this then. Okay.
Right.
God, I need to get her name. I wonder, I gotta wonder if she was relevant. I'm sorry, not relevant. I was gonna say two different words. In this situation.
Her name is Christy Barnett.
With a K or a C?
K.
Well, I'll tell you right now, she doesn't hold a candle to your sister, so.
Not many people do.
No, you're right. He lost out on that situation, that's for sure. Wait, what is that?
That's my sister.
Oh, so that's on his Facebook page with his new girlfriend. That's interesting. Yeah, she was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Definitely didn't deserve him, or he definitely didn't deserve her. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay. Are they married or are they just? Ugh.
They're engaged. They're engaged. She got the engagement ring right after he pawned the gun.
Oh. How is the kiddo? I mean, I'm sure you were close to her too. Is she okay?
That's his daughter, and I haven't spoken to her since the day it happened. The day it happened, she didn't show any emotion or anything
Really?
about the situation.
Yeah, well, she didn't get along with her anyway, right?
Right. So.
Okay.
Yeah, in the meal train text, when I was included in it, I was quickly booted out when they realized I was her sister. The daughter had chimed in and said, "Finally, we get to eat meat," because my sister wasn't a big meat eater. Like she was just like macaroni and cheese, like sides and things like that. And so that was the daughter's comment was, "Finally, we get to eat meat."
Oh,
yeah, that was her reaction to everything. So after that, I was like, "This is insane."
What do you know the daughter? Do you know his daughter's name?
Cheyenne.
Same last name?
Yeah.
Okay. And how old would she be about now?
She should be turning 17 in December because my daughter's turning 16.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I can tell you already, there's a few of the people on this team that have already started digging on this. About other little things. We always look for different offsetting things within these cases to try to pull out to see what we can find. Okay, that's an even better picture, Molly. Thank you for that. This is another picture. Molly took that. It's a little blurry, but still, I still question it though. I really do. I really, really do.
If it didn't have that line where the arrow's pointing, if
Right
it didn't have
there,
that little rim, I would swear it wasn't. But because it has that rim, I'm iffy.
That looks like where the hammer hits the back end of the bullet right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And see that rim, that little lip right there.
It
does look like a casing, but why wait that many days? They should have done that.
The only thing I compared that to is if you look at that exact same makeup brush that's laying on its side beside it, it's got gold writing on the side of that makeup brush. You can see it all the way to the left.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that is what I looked at and saw that's the gold writing on that makeup brush.
Oh, look, Doodle. Look. See this here?
That's gold writing.
Yeah.
Now look over here.
It's the same makeup brush.
Oh, my goodness.
You see it? You see it now?
Yep, I do. And I can see where they got away with saying that was a casing too, because of that little lip.
Because of that little, what looks like a lip. So
I see it now. Yeah,
it's consistent. Like she used the same products every time. So she had two of the same makeup brushes.
Good eye. Very good eye, Jana. That's awesome. I didn't even see that till you pointed it out. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because that would have had me fooled. That little lip there. That's the problem was that little lip. But yeah, that makes sense now. I see
That's what it looks like in the picture, but without that, after I saw that matches up really close. So that's a really good eye. Yeah, Mom, we'll get you caught up on all of this too. It's okay. You're okay. Everybody has to work. This is just wow. So, all right, onward we go. Thank you again, Molly, for doing that. We'll try to see if we can clean that up more. and break that video down even better and see if we can clear it up to see what that may actually say. Because that's I didn't even see that. I feel bad. And the blurriness was good point, Karen. Okay, so moving forward. Sorry, guys, there's little things in this that are catching my attention that are really drawing me away from it. So, with everything you've told us, is there anything new within this, Jana, that has popped up more recently, or anything that you want to add to what we've already talked about?
The only thing new that popped up was the letter saying that the case was still open, even though it can't be open. I got a call from Senator Bill Cassidy's legislative office because I reached out to them. That's who I went to see in Washington. And he listened to me. I mean, he was great until I told him the case was still open. And it was at that time that he said, we can't do anything to help you because the case is still open.
But how is there? How is the case still open?
How is the case still open? So I couldn't even get like the opportunity to even explain that to him because it was so many legalities that he just couldn't hear any more of it. And then basically every podcaster that I've had on it, an investigator says to push for the media because the media is what's going to either shut them up or make them talk more because they don't want their name smeared.
Of course.
And so that's what I've been trying to do is just make sure that her story's out there. And that news story airing was huge because now there's a news story on it. So many people don't want to look at it unless there's a news story on it.
Of course. And that's why we're doing this as well, to make to make the awareness out there. So I don't understand how this is open if they've already been. She's gone. Okay. Right. Everything else has been. They're leaving.
It's open, Dago, because as long as it's open, they know from training and education that they can't go any higher as long as that case is open.
That's right.
I have a question for you, Jana. Would you have any issues with me sending this to another, a very much larger channel?
No. You can send it to anybody and you can contact anybody that you want to. I mean, the more people that contact them, the more it'll irritate them. I mean,
well, what I was thinking of doing is I'm not even a huge fan of this person's, but she's very loud and she makes a big deal about things. I don't know if you're familiar with Nancy Grace. Okay. You've never spoken with her yet?
I tried to reach out to her. I haven't gotten an email back.
Okay. I'm going to try to do that myself. If you're okay with that, I'm going to send this to her because she will make a really big deal about this. Okay.
Right.
And I think she'll see it for the way we see it as well. If you don't mind, I'd like to try to send this over to her, as well as maybe a couple other creators that are probably bigger than we are too, just to get it at a farther range. You know what I mean?
Right.
So as long as you're okay with that, I definitely want to reach out. Doodle. Go ahead, please.
If there's anything else you guys need, like access to, I'll try to open up those files so it's a little bit easier for you guys to access to them and give y'all like some sort of rights to them, like I gave some other people, so you don't have to go through and request all of them.
Sure, and you can send them to my email and Doodles if you want, and you don't have to.
She did, Dago. She sent you the email. All you had to do is open it up.
Okay, and I promise you, they won't go anywhere that they don't need to go. That's a fact. Other than the stuff we show. Let me see something. I'm looking real quick here. Got it. Okay. And also, so I want to see Nancy. I want to see if Nancy responds to this because I think, like I said, if you've seen her, you know what she does with some of these cases, and she puts it out like it is, and she's very loud. So, like I said, for me to send something to her, you can ask everybody in here. I'm not a huge fan of Nancy's because of certain things she does, but in this situation, any help you can get with this, you deserve it, and I think she would make a big deal about it. So, right. That's fact. Phil just said the same thing, and so did SRB. So I think that's another step we're going to take. And Mom,
before we end this too, I would like to hear some good stuff about Crystal. I'd like to know some funny stuff and something because we see her face, but I know you said she has a joking personality, so I'm sure it's nice to say something, something nice about her.
About the things.
What?
The two cans of beans.
Oh, so my sister was kind of OCD when it came to things, which like she had certain things that stayed in a certain place. When I was able to get access to her photos for just the little while that I had access to them in her Google Drive or her iCloud account. A couple of days before she died, she had organized her pantry and things like that. And that was her way of just having a good time, was organizing things. So in my Facebook memories, was it day before yesterday, it is a text message thread between my sister and I, and she sends me this picture of 2 cans of sweet peas, but they were 2 different brands. And she goes, "What am I going to do?" And I go, I guess you're going to eat peas. And she goes, "Well, I can't have 2 different brands of peas going in the same bucket." Like it bothered her so bad because
I'm the same exact way. I am.
And I was like, "You have to open the peas." And she's like, "Well, what am I going to do?" I was like, "You're going to take the can over and you're going to open it." And she just argued with me. I was like, "This is going on Facebook."
No. You open one can and dump it out, and you eat the other one.
Yeah, and
you do it.
So she gave me a key to her house for just a brief little while before I got grounded, and she took it back because she was so OCD. She would have all of her clothes hanging on white hangers. Don't you dare put a colored clothes hanger in her closet. So I was off for like a break or something because I was a teacher. So I took all of her clothes and I put them on different colored clothes hangers and hid her white ones. And she was so mad at me that day. She took my house key.
Oh, that's so cute.
No, I'm the same way. We typically always use the white ones, the plastic ones, but if there's a color that we have more of one, like if they're all blue, then we're going to use all blue. Or if we have more of the white, then I can't handle that either. I'm so OCD. It's not even funny. Like I said, with the peas, I would have opened one can and threw them away, or probably wouldn't even open it. I just thrown it away and opened the other can.
She did. I don't think she cooked them together. I'm pretty sure she didn't.
You can't do that because they're 2 different flavors, 2 different brands. That's just wrong.
That's adorable, but I don't get it. Peas are peas to me.
Well, she got it. She was livid because she bought 2 different brands of peas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. That's adorable.
That is great. I love that too. How is, if I can ask this question, obviously the grandbaby, you said it was a year old now, roughly. How is all that going?
So she had 2 sons. One son was kind of raised by Tony. So he doesn't get involved with any of it. So he talks to my mom. He doesn't really talk to me because he doesn't like me putting blame on anybody.
Of course.
The oldest son that had the baby, we talk at least once a week. He lives in New York. So I don't get to see him. I haven't gotten to see the baby yet. So we talk and I send him cute little outfits and things like that. And I always, just ask if they need anything. Same thing my sister would do.
Of course.
So he's doing really good. And I don't really involve them like that. I didn't send him the news article or anything like that because I don't want him to have to relive it. I mean, he was a mess when he came down here. But
that's what you do. That's what you do.
He's an amazing kid, and he was raised by an amazing mom.
I agree, and I hope that he continues to be able to be that way and be able to raise his child the same way, and with memories of grandma and all that kind of stuff. That's the best way to do it. And it's amazing of you to exclude them from the drama of all of this. That says a lot. It really does. Right. No wire hangers.
Yeah, no wire hangers.
I love it. It was one of my favorite movies actually when I was younger. Don't ask me why, but it's weird. So I think was there any other questions you had, Doodle or Mama Bear? Did you have any questions you wanted to ask before we brought this to a close?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know how much of it you caught, but Doodle?
I'm good. I just wanted to let Jenna know that if I can be any kind of help to you, I'm here at anytime. Reach out anytime, really. I mean that. I'm not just saying it. I actually do mean it. And
if you guys have any questions about anything, shoot me a text. I'll like reply to a text before I will like a Facebook message or something like that. But shoot me a text, and all the documents and things, I store them in like 8 different places on my computer, on my phone. So if you need access to something, I could easily get you access to it. It's no problem.
That's perfect. And if you would, Doodle, because you've had more contact, can you hand off my information to Jana and give my numbers, my email, everything? I just wanted to have it all because again, you can reach out to me for any reason whatsoever, any changes, anything, because I will run this again with no fail. And I want you to know that we all support you. And we'll continue to, as we do with all of these types of cases. You have become part of us now, just so you know, and we have your back with this whole thing. If you ever need anything from any of us whatsoever to help support you in any sense with this, we're right here.
Thank you.
And I hope that you do understand that you are amazing for what you were doing. I mean, really, I'm not
Really.
just saying that because I don't have siblings, but if
Right.
I had one or I could wish for one, I would wish for one exactly like you.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
really would.
To
It
fight
is.
next to other families that have done the same thing for 10 years. Like that trip to Washington really got us nowhere as far as lawmakers are concerned. But I
Right.
met 3 families, Jonathan Cruz case, Lauren A.G. and Christian Mandriacchio. And
Yeah.
they're all moms. And I couldn't imagine, I have 2 daughters. I couldn't imagine being a mom in this situation. So, I was my
Absolutely.
only sister, and just working with them and seeing that what they do now, I couldn't think of anything else I would want to do because my sister would do the same for me.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I love how close. I love the close knit family stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And that's what this whole community is all about right here. I built this community based on that. And we live, or I don't want to say live. Well, kind of, yeah, live, but we work together as a family in a community here to support other families and other communities to bring justice in the best way we possibly can. So, again, guys, I want you guys all to see, there is the link to Jana's YouTube. Please follow that as well. Just to support her within. She doesn't ask for that or expect that.
Sign that petition, please, please, please.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely need that to be a thing. This definitely needs to be reopened, and that definitely needs to be looked at by some people in a larger scale situation, folks, in my opinion. And there is a Facebook page as well. Do we have that link, Doodle?
I can grab it.
Please. I'm sorry. I don't have wait.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I do have it. Sorry, I got it.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a minute. Sorry, guys. I'm a little ADHD. Everybody knows that I'm all over the place. So here it is. Okay. My apologies. There is the Facebook as well. And again, everybody again in the chat, if you can't see it, Jana is saying thank you for sharing and for joining us today with this.
Thank y'all for listening.
We will definitely be spreading the word on this. Again, there's the link for the petition. If everybody has not signed it yet, please, if you would do that. It will greatly help the situation. I'm sorry. There was one more question I didn't see. Karen asked, and I just want to clarify this again. The headboard had how many bullet holes again?
Well, we can't get a definite answer. What I'll do is I'll share that photo. I'm not going to do it on the Facebook page. I'll share it in the YouTube page, and let you guys. I want to see what you guys think, because my brother, that's the whole thing he wanted me to talk about was the headboard, because he is dead set that there was multiple shots fired.
Okay.
But
yeah, and I should be able to tell if it was ricochet or not.
Right.
Yeah. So, and he wants to elaborate on it, but I'm more of like, what do we know for a fact? Because once you start, assuming things that you can't necessarily prove, then your credibility is gone.
Of course.
I try to sway away from it, but if you guys are interested in looking at it, I would love your opinions on.
Oh, definitely.
What it is.
And you can send it to my email if you want to as well.
I'll send it to your email.
Either way.
Do I have permission to send that to Sergeant Smellgood? Because he can tell me right away.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. And again, thank you, Sergeant, for asking for info on this to look at it as well.
Yeah, he's definitely asking questions. My phone's blowing up here.
Good stuff. There's the Facebook link, folks. I think I got everything here. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining us today in support of this. Of course, you guys are always amazing. And everybody in here, please share this through your social media accounts as well. And we have other creators in here that have, they do the same things, that they will be sharing it throughout their communities as well. So it's going to get out there for sure.
And Jenna, thank you for not assuming that all law enforcement is that way, because many do that, and the bad ones ruin it for the good ones. But thank you so much for not thinking that.
For about a year, I was very hesitant on talking to law enforcement. Even my friends that were law enforcement, I was taken aback. I was swayed. My outlook on the law enforcement is like they're all bad. Until about 4 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, I was pulled over by a Louisiana State Trooper because I didn't have my seatbelt on. On the back of my car is this huge picture of my sister that says Truth, Justice, and Accountability. Huge picture of it. Doesn't say her name, just says Truth, Justice, Accountability. He pulled me over, gave me a seatbelt ticket. As he's coming to give me the ticket, he goes, I can't help but ask, who's that on your back of your window and what happened to her? He took about 10 minutes to actually talk to me about my sister, and it was the best 10 minutes ever. And he didn't have to. Like, he didn't have to care. And so he just told me that it was a pretty crappy job that was done just by listening to me. And I took my, $25 seatbelt ticket, and it was the best thing that happened. So after that, I was like, not all cops are bad.
They're not. They're not at all.
It's just the good ones don't get talked about. The
Yeah,
bad deeds always get talked about, but the good ones never.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very true. Again, everybody is thanking you for joining us and for sharing with us and trusting us to be able to help you with this. And as I am doing the same thing, I really appreciate you. Again, I want to give you my deepest condolences for the loss to your whole family.
Thank you.
If there's anything else you need, please feel free to let us know at any moment, please.
Okay. And I'll get you those things sent to your email through text message or something, and just get your opinion and help ease my brother's mind, or make him feel like he's sane.
Yeah, absolutely. Your brother knew that you were going to be doing this as well. I take it.
Yeah, I sent him a live link, and he sent me some things to talk about, and that was one of them. So y'all hit the nail on the head.
Awesome.
Let him know that we appreciate him as well, and again, give him our condolences. Your whole family, truly. So, like I said, I'm going to try to get this work together. I'm going to get a hold of mine. She was just in here. She was working the Mind of Monsters. She's sent other things off to Nancy as well. We're going to work together to try to make sure Nancy takes this, and anybody else we can put together to do it. And again, hopefully we can see it there and make some noise about it. So,
thank you so much.
Once again, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, an amazing holiday, Thanksgiving. And again, at any moment, feel free to reach out to us for anything. Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Have a wonderful night, Jana. Thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.
All right. With that, guys, I don't even know what to say. I'm just completely, I'm going to believe it or not. And you can ask Mama Bear and Doodle. They know that this doesn't happen often, but I'm at a loss for words with this one.
Yeah.
The autopsy thing alone, just as soon as she said that, I about fell out of the chair. That you can't make autopsy statements, write things down in an autopsy report, having not even opened up the body. How?
Yeah,
This is insane. And I gotta wonder, the guy that did the husband was a former sheriff's deputy, and the sheriff didn't want to hear nothing about this. Come on, guys. We know this stuff happens, okay? I try to not go along with the correct side of things.
For a minute.
I can't with that. I just can't with this one. This is definitely, even when Phil says, hey, I see it, there's a problem. So
yeah, and Elsie's right. There's things missing that should not be missing. That is the truth.
Thank you. Yes. And Elsie, thank you for joining us. I took it that you know about the case from being maybe a friend of the family or something. We appreciate you very much. And again, anybody that's in here, please share this out to your other social media accounts. Share this channel and Doodle's channel out as well. We have plenty of room for many people to come in here for this, not only this, but everything else that we cover, because we support all of you and all the families that have to go through this kind of stuff, guys, because somebody needs to do it. So,
Mr. Steve might be a good one too to reach out to.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just thinking True Crime Web or the foundation. He'd probably be all over this, to be honest with you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna see if we can get in touch with him too. Something has to happen with this.
Oh, see, we are so sorry for your loss. She seemed like an amazing woman.
Yes, and I promise you, we will do everything in our power to make something happen, to make some awareness, make some noise, something about this, to ensure that maybe someday there is some real justice with this, truly. And Elsie, again, if there's anything that you come up with or anything that you have questions about or any way, shape, or form you need us for anything as well, and even in regards to this or anything else, we're here. I promise you. So again, I appreciate you being here. She's on the other channel, Phil, for sure, which is fine. Again, anybody that has not yet done it, if you could please click on Doodle's link, jump over real quick to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, first off, but at least like Doodle's side of this as well, since we're streaming it together, and share it out, hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss anything that Doodle puts out right along with me. It is so very much appreciated. And I think, guys, that's going to do it for this one. And I appreciate all of you being here and supporting this and Miss Jana. We also, folks, I don't want anybody to forget, we have 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Timmy's Legacy is going to be live with the first ever video she's put out, Miss Barbara Matahari. And I would appreciate everybody and anybody, if you can, if you have the availability, to be there to support Miss Barbara. She really needs that support. If we can drop that link in here. Hello, Miss Pebbles. Thank you for joining us.
And she's super nervous. She's got the anxiety going, you know. She's a pro at this. She'll do so good. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. Pebbles, if you would, you probably need to go back and watch the full video, Pebbles, or at least the beginning to see what it was about. A case out of Louisiana that's just very horrible. It's okay. It's okay for you.
It's very interesting, though. You're definitely going to be interested in this one.
Yeah, you would definitely want something to just go watch it, Pebbles. I promise you'll get to it. I'll tell you right now.
So much we can't explain.
What time is it, Barb's live tonight?
It is 7 p.m. our time, Bear.
Okay, so I should be.
What is it? Their time, Doodle? 6 or
6? It's 6 my time, Central. Yes.
So 7 p.m. ours, Mom.
Okay.
Mama Bear.
My house smells so good, like pie. I got it in the oven.
My wife just fed me one of her deviled eggs, and I'm already hooked. So.
You'll be tooting tomorrow's morning show.
Oh, well, no, but.
You're not lying to me. I know what eggs do.
Right?
Oh, they do. It's usually when I'm sleeping, though. It's weird.
I know. It's terrible. It sneaks up on you.
Then you wake yourself up.
Yeah.
Sneaks up on his wife.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Absolutely. Miss Pebbles became a member. Welcome back to the sauce. We've gotten 24 new members over the past 2 days. That's amazing to me. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited about that. I love it. I appreciate you all very much. We're going to bring this channel back, guys, to where it used to be, where it should be, where it needs to be, where it always should have been. So, right. And because of the crew that we have in here, the support that we have in here, the family that we have built in here, that is going to happen for that reason alone.
Yep.
Even the new people. I got to say, too, do you guys notice? I'm glad that you're both up here with me. The people that, even the new people that have come in here, like Phil, for instance, came in. Phil hasn't been here that long, but Phil kind of fit right in like a glove. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, family. Yep, Phil's family.
It was immediate. And all these other people, these newer people that popped in here, they just kind of slide into this community. Like, that's what this community is based on, guys. And it's
for
so
the right reasons. It's amazing.
Yes.
When people come in for drama and the fighting and the bickering and bringing other drama, it's just not. It's just not where I want to be. But when it's people that are willing to listen and give their opinions and be respectful, no troublemaking, it's great.
And that's the thing, right? Phil can come out here and be devil's advocate on almost every case we have. And they do it respectfully. They don't come out here acting like an idiot, telling you you're stupid because of this or telling you you're dumb because of that. That's why they fit into this community the way they do. And we appreciate you, Phil, just so you know, very much so. Sticks out like a cold sore. No. Elizabeth, time Elizabeth as well. Yes. You're all appreciated, every one of you. So I have a very positive outlook for this channel, and I see growth in the future, and I feel very positive, and that's rare for me. You can ask these two that I'm always in a negative bowl about everything going on. So I feel it. So that means a lot, guys. And I appreciate you guys so very much. I really do. Pebbles coming back around as often as she has, seeing Danger back in here. Those things, I feel really good. So I appreciate you guys, all of you guys, for that. So I appreciate it once again, guys. You're welcome, Walt. No problem. We figured that out already, Phil, but it's good. You're welcome as well. Somebody give Walt a compliment so he doesn't feel left out, everybody, please, and thank you.
Don't forget, we got those Bald Harris here t-shirts and that merch shop.
yes, guys. We go check out that. Drop that link so we can check that out. I still got to get a morning show shirt. Did you work today, Mama Bear?
Yes, I did.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Good. You guys are closed tomorrow, right? Don't tell me no.
Yes. Close
Okay.
tomorrow on Friday.
Cool. Well, I hope everybody. I might be in here tonight, guys. I might do a late one just because I want to do a late one since tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and it won't be anything direct. It'll just be a little let's hang out type thing for a while. So look for me tonight, as long as the boss allows it.
All right.
Again, everybody, I feel really good about that show. That was really good. We got a lot of good awareness out on that, and I appreciate you all. There's the link. Thank you, Alicia.
Yes, and please share if you will share, not because of views and likes and all that, but because this is so important to this family.
Right.
Crystal deserves justice.
Yes, yes, yes. Because they really have been
How's that look?
good. They really have been like full throttle with this, busting their butts to make something happen, and they deserve every bit of support that they can get. So please do, guys.
You're welcome, Walt.
Thank you, Walt, for being here. Oh, you're fired, Stormy. I'm done. I'm just kidding. You know better than that. It's okay. Things happen. Real life is always more important. It's always rewatchable, folks.
Very
Remember that.
touching with the fart talk, though. That really got me some tears.
Mhm.
I was like, wow, okay. Because maybe it was meant to be, maybe.
I think it was. I told you when I looked at her date of birth and I saw that it was the same date as my son's, and I was like, wow.
Stuff like that just melts my heart. But I'm a softie. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, well, we both are. They call me soft serve. So, yeah, you can definitely check it out. Stormy, it's a good story to watch. It's very interesting. You're gonna probably be a little bit pissed off when you watch it because I think the rest of us were. But that's about it. Karen, it was wonderful to have you in here tonight as well. Very much appreciated. I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate seeing you. So again, everybody, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We need to go over and support Timmy's Legacy for the first ever live stream that Miss Barbara's going to be doing along with Matahari. She will be grateful to see us all there. And share that out as well, folks. Again, if we can drop the link for that one for tonight. There you go, Marky. That's what I was gonna say. If you can be in there, it would be gratefully appreciated. Every one of you, please and thank you. Same to you, Pebble. Same to you. If I don't see some of you tonight when I do come in here, I hope you guys have the absolute best Thanksgiving you could ever have. You'll see me the day after. For those of you, hopefully, that didn't see me tonight. Thank you, Kel. There it is. Please enjoy your families, enjoy yourselves, be safe. Don't blow up when you eat. That way you can be here the next time. I don't know, Mama Bear, Doodlebug, anything else to go along with that?
Nope. Just happy Thanksgiving to the ones that I won't see, and eat the pie. Have a good holiday. Don't fight it. Just have fun. Smile. Looks good on you.
Yes. And I got to tell you
You know
all.
what they said.
What'd you say that again?
Ditto to what you guys said.
Yep. There you go. And I got to tell you one thing, folks. I will be stating tomorrow because my family does this thing where we talk about what we're thankful for the year. You know how that goes. The one main thing I will be putting out there is you guys, every single solitary one of you guys, for making this channel what it is, for making this community what it is, for making me what I have become, and all of us together as a whole. So I am beyond thankful for each and every single one of you. Facts are facts. So,
You're welcome.
I wasn't talking to you.
Yes, Walt. No happy Thanksgiving to Korea. We want our hoodies.
That's right. That's right. So much love to all you guys. Like I said, for those of you that I won't see tonight, I will see you hopefully the day after tomorrow. I might even pop in here tomorrow for a minute. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I don't know. That's what I was just saying, Victoria. I might pop in here, but it'll be way after, so that, of course, I'll probably fall asleep because I do that. But you know how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know about the morning show tomorrow. Lots of cooking, lots of crap.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy tonight and tomorrow. So you
Yep,
might
yep.
see me tomorrow. I don't know, but for
No
sure the
promises
day.
for me. No promises for me because I have kiddo
No.
and cooking, which means mess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
we're
of
going
course.
to my parents. Gotta be there at 3 tomorrow, so who knows?
You be careful. Any of you that are traveling, please be careful, please.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow, but Be careful, be safe, be happy. Every one of you, much love. Like I said to all of you, God bless. And I hope to see you all very soon. Have a great one, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data, facts sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless, he won't stay quiet. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking cases open, hearts filled with fear. These channels are beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The clicks and the lights, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Daniel's a warrior through the trials he waves. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, are streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Truth out, answering the call. For every soul forgotten, he's here to stand tall. Daniel the genuine, will always give it his all. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim